Excel 365 has a variety of different tools to easily navigate a worksheet, such as the name box, Go To and Go To Special Tools. The Find and Replace tool can also be used to search for keywords. In this video, you will explore how to search within an Excel 365 worksheet. In your worksheet, you can quickly find as well as go to specific cells using the name box. You can find the name box at the top left corner of the interface, and in it will be the column and row number of the cell that's currently selected. For example, here it states that the cell in column E row 9 is selected. To use this name box to jump to a specific cell, I'll click inside it, then type in the column letter C and row number 5, then press the Enter key and cell C5 in my worksheet is now selected. Excel also has the Go To tool. To find this tool with the Home tab selected, navigate to the Editing group on the far right of the Tools ribbon and click the Find and Select button. From the drop-down menu, select the option Go To. The Go To dialog box opens. Note that you can quickly access the Go To tool using the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+G. At the top of the dialog box is a list of cells which I've already navigated to. You can click on a cell in this list to quickly go to it. At the bottom is a reference field. Click inside this and, for example, I'll type in the cell location D4, then press the OK button at the bottom center. Cell D4 is now highlighted in my worksheet. If you'd like to find, for example, a specific formula or information contained within your data values, you can use the Go To Special tool. To access this tool, click the Find and Select drop-down in the Editing group. From the menu, select the Go To Special option. The Go To Special dialog box then opens. Close this by clicking the X icon at the top right. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+G and then click the Special button at the bottom left corner of the Go To window to open the Go To Special dialog box. In this dialog box is a list of options which you can navigate to, such as notes, specific formulas, blank cells, as well as conditional formats within your worksheet. I would like to go to the blank cells within my worksheet, so I'll click the radio button to the right of blanks at the bottom left of the window, then click the OK button at the bottom right. And now all of the blank cells in my worksheet are highlighted. To deselect these cells, simply click outside of the cell selection. You can also find the Go To Special options by clicking the Find and Select drop-down, and in the menu are the options to navigate to formulas, notes, conditional formatting, constants, and data validation. I'll click Away to close this menu. If you'd like to find a specific value, you can use the Find tool. To access the Find tool, click the Find and Select drop-down in the Editing group, and from the top of the menu select the Find option. The Find and Replace dialog box opens and the Find tab at the top left is selected. Note you can also use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+F to open this tool. At the top left is a Find What field, which you can use to search for a specific term or value. For example, I want to look for the term living room, so I'll click inside the field and type in living room, then click the Find Next button at the bottom right. Cell E14 with the value living room in it is then highlighted. If I click the Find Next button again, the next instance of the term living room in cell E20 is then highlighted. To get a list of all instances of this term in my worksheet, I'll click the Find All button at the bottom right of the dialog box. A list of those values and where they appear in my worksheet display at the bottom of the window. All the cell references in the dialog box are linked to the respective cell locations in the worksheet. I can scroll down this list and then go to a specific value by selecting the cell reference, and that value is now highlighted in my worksheet. Close this window by clicking the X icon at the top right. You can also search for a term within a defined cell range. To do this, I'll select a cell range within I would like to find a specific value, then open the Find and Replace dialog box using the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+F, click inside the Find Next field, and I'll type in homotic, then click the Find Next button at the bottom right, and that term within my cell selection is now highlighted. Close this window by clicking the X icon at the top right. This has been an overview on searching within a worksheet in Excel. Excel 365 search queries can be customized to find values or formulas. Using these advanced options, these formulas can then be substituted. In this video, you will explore how to use the Find and Replace tool with formulas in Excel 365. If I'm looking for formulas in my worksheet, I can do this using the Find and Replace tool. With the Home tab selected, go to the Editing group on the far right of the Tools ribbon, and on the right of the group click the Find and Select drop-down. From the top of the menu, select the Find option. The Find and Replace dialog box opens, and the Find tab at the top left is selected. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+F to open this window. I'll click inside the Find What field at the top left, and into it I'll type in sum, as I want to find the sum formulas in my worksheet. Before I search, I first must change the look in option. At the bottom left, click the look in drop-down and select formulas from the menu. Then I can click the Find All or Find Next button at the bottom center. I'll click the Find All button. A list of all of the sum formulas in my worksheet displays at the bottom of the window. If you'd like to replace your formulas, you can do this by switching to the Replace tab in the Find and Replace window. Close this window by clicking the X icon at the top right. Another way to access the Replace tab is by clicking the Find and Select drop-down in the Editing group, and from the menu select Replace. Note you can also use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+H to open the Find and Replace window on the Replace tab. I'd like to replace the sum formulas in my worksheet with average formulas. As the text sum is already entered into the Find What field at the top left, below this I'll click inside the Replace With field and type in average. At the bottom left are the buttons Replace All to replace all instances of the sum formula, and the button Replace to just replace one instance of the formula at a time. So if I click the Replace button, the value in cell J9 changes, as the formula applied to that cell has been changed from sum to average. I'll click the Replace All button. The values in cells J10 to 13 have changed, as the formulas in those cells were replaced with the average formula. A Microsoft Excel notification also displays stating that 4 replacements were made. Close this by clicking the OK button at the bottom center. Close the Find and Replace window by clicking the Close button at the bottom right. This has been an overview on using the Find and Replace tool with formulas in Excel. If data values are entered incorrectly into Excel 365, they can be easily substituted. Each entry can be replaced individually or you can change them all at once. In this video, you will discover how to use the Replace tool in Excel 365. In my worksheet, if I'd like to find and replace a value, I can easily do it using the Replace tool. To access the Replace tool, with the Home tab selected, go to the Editing group on the right of the Tools ribbon, and on the right of the group click the Find and Select drop-down. From the top of the menu, click on Replace. The Find and Replace dialog box opens on the Replace tab. Note you can also use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+H to access this same window. Using the Find What field at the top left, I'll need to insert the term that I'd like to find and replace. For example, I want to change the term living room to sitting room. I'll click inside the Find What field and type in living. Below this, I'll click inside the Replace With field and type in sitting. After you've done this, at the bottom left you have 2 options. There is a Replace button to replace just one instance of the value, and then the Replace All button to replace all instances of the term. I'll select the Replace button, and in my worksheet I can see that only one value in cell E4 has been changed to sitting room. Now, if I'm quite certain that all of the following values are located within the same column, and I'm not going to be accidentally changing any other values, I can click the Replace All button. A Microsoft Excel notification displays stating that 8 replacements were made. Click the OK button to close this. All instances of living room in my worksheet have changed to sitting room. Now, besides changing the values in the purchase type column, I can see by chance that there is a surname Livingston in cell C6. As this is quite similar to living room, living in the surname has also been changed to sitting. So be careful before changing your values and selecting Replace All. To quickly undo this action, I can use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+Z to activate the Undo tool. If I want to be more precise, I can use the Options menu. To access this menu, click the Options button at the bottom right of the dialog box. At the top right are now the options to set the format. At the bottom left, I can click the Within drop-down and choose to replace in just one worksheet or in the whole workbook. Below this, I can click the Search drop-down and you can choose to search in row or by columns. Click the Look in drop-down and from the menu select the value type you'd like to replace. To the right of this is also the option to match the text case and to match the entire cell contents. I can be more specific in the term that I'd like to replace. As I want to replace the complete term living room with sitting room, I'll type in the text room into both the Find What and Replace With fields, then click the Replace All button at the bottom left. The Microsoft Excel notification displays stating that 7 replacements were made. And in cell C6, I can see that the surname was not changed. You can also use the Replace tool to replace the format of a cell. For example, I'd like all of the kitchen values in my worksheet highlighted with a specific format. To do this, I'll click inside to Find What field, delete the current contents, and then type in the term kitchen. I'll also quickly remove the content currently displayed in the Replace With field to leave it blank. To the right of the Replace With field, click the Format button. The Replace Format window opens on the Number tab. From here, I can choose a specific format to apply, such as alignment, font, border or fill color, etc. I'll click the Fill tab at the top center. On the left of the window is now a background color gallery. I'd like all of the kitchen values highlighted in yellow, so I'll click the yellow color option on the right of the gallery. A sample of the color then displays at the bottom center. To apply it, click the OK button at the bottom right. The Replace Format window closes, and the Format Set field to the right of Replace With is now filled with my chosen color yellow. If I click the Replace button at the bottom left, one instance of the value kitchen in cell E2 is highlighted yellow. To apply this formatting to all instances, click the Replace All button at the bottom left. The Excel notification displays stating that 8 replacements were made. Close this by clicking the OK button. And I can see that the cell formatting has been applied to all of the kitchen cells. Click the Close button at the bottom right of the Find and Replace window. This has been an overview on using the Replace tool in Excel. The Excel 365 Find tools can be customized to improve your search queries. In this video, you will explore how to use the advanced Find tools in Excel 365 to narrow down the search criteria and search for a specific format. If you want to find a specific value and want to add specific search criteria, you can use the advanced Find tools. To access the Find tool, with the Home tab selected, go to the Editing group on the far right of the Tools ribbon and click the Find and Select drop-down. From the top of the menu, click on Find. The Find and Replace dialog box opens on the Find tab. Note you can also use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+F to access this window. Using the Find What field at the top left, you can search for a term or a value. I'll click inside this field and type in the number 150. To further specify my search criteria, at the top right I can also set a format to search for. Click the Format button at the top right, and the Find Format dialog box opens on the Number tab. At the top are also tabs to find formats for alignment, font, border and fill, etc. From the Number tab, you can specify the cell number format by selecting a category from the list on the left. As I'm looking for a value located within the number format currency, I'll select currency from the list. And then you can choose one of the formats on the right-hand side. Once you've chosen your Find Format option, click the OK button at the bottom right. From the Find and Replace window, to access more format options, click the Format drop-down, and in the menu are the options to format. Choose a format from a cell selection or to clear the selected Find format. Click Away to close this. At the bottom left, you can select specific criteria to narrow down your search. You have the option to match the case, as well as match the values in the cell's contents. To the left of that is Within, where you can specify where you'd like to search. By default, it's set to search in this worksheet, but if you have multiple sheets within your workbook that you'd like to search in, click this drop-down and then select Workbook from the menu. Below this, click the Search drop-down and in the menu you can search by row or column. Next is Look In, which you can use to search specific areas of your worksheet. Click this drop-down and in the menu you can search by formulas, values, notes and comments. I'll select the option Values. Once I've set my search criteria, in order to find my value I can click the Find Next button at the bottom right to find individual values, and a cell with the value 150 in it is now selected. If I'd like to get a list of all of my search criteria, I'll click the Find All button at the bottom center, and a list of those values located in my worksheet now appears at the bottom of the window. In order to be redirected to a specific cell, for example, I can select the cell reference G16 and I'll be redirected to that cell within my worksheet. To close the Find and Replace window, click the Close button at the bottom right. This has been an overview on using the advanced Find tools in Excel. Grouping rows and columns in Excel 365 is a great way to summarize data and add structure to data tables. You can even create groups according to subtotals. In this video, you will discover how to group and ungroup items, create subgroups, and hide and expand groups in Excel 365. In my worksheet, I have a lot of data that I would like to analyze. In order to do this easily, I can group my items. For example, if I'd like to group columns A through C, I can do this by first selecting those columns. Once done, I'll switch to the Data tab, and on the far right of the Tools ribbon, you'll find the Outline tool. Click this to open the drop-down menu, and on the left-hand side, click the Group button. Note you can also expand the Group drop-down and click Group, or use the keyboard shortcut Shift+Alt and the right arrow key. When I clicked Group, an outline appeared just above my selected columns A, B, and C. Within this outline, you'll be able to identify the number of groups created within your particular selection. Besides grouping columns, you can also group rows. I'm going to select rows 2 through 10 while holding the Shift key. I'm then going to click the outline dropdown and then select the drop-down button under Group and select the option Group. A vertical outline with the minus icon now appears against the highlighted rows. Now we can create a subgroup within a selected group. I'll do this for my group of rows. First, I'm going to be sure to select the number 2 within my outline, and then I'm going to select the specific rows 2 to 5. I'll click the outline drop-down and select Group from the menu. Once I've grouped my items, a new outline box number 3 has appeared next to the 1 and 2 boxes, where I can create more subgroups again if I wish. In order to quickly hide my group row, I can select the minus icon under the number 1 box, and rows 2 to 10 are now hidden. The minus icon is replaced by a plus icon, and I can click this to expand the group and show the rows again. Note that if you click the outline drop-down, on the right of the menu you can use the Show Detail button to show groups, and the Hide Detail button to hide groups. Click Away to close this. To ungroup the rows of subgroup 3, first select the rows 2 to 5, then click the outline drop-down and on the left of the menu click the Ungroup button, and the number 3 outline box has now been removed. If you'd like to remove all groups and subgroups simultaneously, you need to select the number 1 outline, click the outline drop-down, select the Ungroup drop-down, and from the menu select the Clear Outline option. Once your groups have been cleared, you can also group your data according to subtotals. In my worksheet, I've already organized my data according to the purchase types in column F. If I'd like to quickly calculate the subtotal for each of these groups according to the purchase total in column G, I can insert a subtotal. Once you have your data organized, click the outline drop-down and select the option Subtotal. A subtotal dialog box opens where you can choose how you'd like to calculate your subtotals. Since I want to calculate according to my purchase types, I'm going to click the first drop-down and select Purchase Type from the menu. Next, you can choose your function. I'm going to leave it at Sum. After you've chosen the category for your subtotal, you need to choose the column that you would like to calculate. Since I'd like to calculate the purchase totals, I'm going to select that option from the list. And below, I can also choose to replace current subtotals, insert a page break which will make viewing the subtotals a lot easier, and to create an optional summary at the bottom. To insert my subtotals, click the OK button. My rows are now grouped by purchase type, and each group subtotal is calculated and displayed at the top of each group, as well as a grand total at the bottom of my worksheet. So this way I can quickly keep an eye on those items. To remove my subtotals, I can select the outline drop-down and click the subtotal button, and at the bottom left corner of the subtotal dialog box, click the Remove All button. My subtotals are now no longer located within my worksheet. This has been an overview on grouping items in Excel. Auto Outline in Excel 365 helps with the analysis of data by allowing you to group content. The appearance of the outline can even be adjusted to suit your preferences. In this video, you will explore how to create outlines to group content in Excel 365. In my worksheet, I can see that I have 2 groups of information that I'd like to calculate a subtotal for. To manually do this, I'm going to be sure that each group is separated by a blank row. And within this row, I'll select cell G6 and create a subtotal in it using the sum formula. So I'll insert an equal sign followed by sum and an open parenthesis, then select my range of cells G2 to G5, close off the parenthesis and press the Enter key to calculate the subtotal of those values. I'll do this for the second group by selecting cell G12, insert an equals followed by sum and an open parenthesis, then select the range of cells G7 to G11, close off the parenthesis and press the Enter key to calculate. Now, as you can see, this is a quick way to calculate subtotals. But if I want these elements to be a bit more structured, I can add an outline. Now an outline is great for summarizing data and changing the level of detail visible in Excel documents. An outline will enable you to hide and show values within your table. In order to add an automatic outline, switch to the Data tab. And on the far right of the Tools ribbon, click the Outline drop-down, and on the left of the menu, select the Group drop-down button and click the option Auto Outline. Now as you can see, when you select Auto Outline, Excel will automatically detect which areas to separate within your groups of values. On the left-hand side, my table now has 2 outlines, one for the cells above the first sum and the second for the cells below it. You can collapse your groups by selecting the minus icon, and you can then click the plus icon to re-show your values. This is useful if you want to focus on one set of values in your worksheet. If you'd like to configure the appearance of the values found within your outline, you can do that as well by accessing the outline settings. To do this, click the Outline drop-down, and in the bottom right-hand corner of the menu, you'll find the dialog box Launcher button. Click this and the Settings dialog box will open. From here, you'll be able to configure the direction as well as the style applied to your outline. By default, the direction is set to Summary Rows and Summary Columns. I'm going to leave both options selected. Below this, you can choose to add automatic styles. In order to apply automatic styles, check the box next to this option, then select the Create button at the bottom left corner to recreate and apply the style. An Excel notification displays asking if you'd like to modify the existing outline. To continue, click the OK button and you'll see that the subtotals will automatically have formatting applied to them, which will help your information stand out more. Now, on the left-hand side of your worksheet, you'll notice that you have your outline. If you don't want these outline symbols displayed, you can click the File tab to navigate to the File Backstage view. From the File menu on the left, click on More, and then from the side menu that opens, click on Options. This then opens the Excel Options dialog box. On the left of the window, click the Advanced tab, then scroll down this tab to the Display Options for this worksheet section. In this section, by default the Show Outline Symbols if an outline is applied option is automatically checked. To deactivate this option, uncheck the box to the left of it. To save the changes, click the OK button at the bottom right. And in my worksheet, I can see that I still have my outline, but I don't see those outline symbols on the left-hand side of my worksheet. Having those symbols removed will help save space in my worksheet and will be a bit less distracting. This has been an overview on creating outlines to group content in Excel. In Excel 365, you can choose to show or hide different types of data, which is known as filtering. If you do not need a particular category or type of data, you can specify criteria to include or exclude or indicate the value that you want to visualize. In this video, you will explore how to use filter tools to focus on a specific data group in Excel 365. In my worksheet below, I currently have no filters applied. To add filters to each of my column headers, with the Home tab selected, go to the Editing group on the far right of the Tools ribbon and click the Sort and Filter drop-down, and from the menu you can select the option Filter. I'll click Away to close this. Alternatively, you can access the Filter option by switching to the Data tab, then go to the Sort and Filter group on the right-hand side of the ribbon and click the Filter button. When you do this, filter options displayed as drop-down buttons are now applied to each of my column headers. Now, for example, if I'd like to filter the companies found in this worksheet, I can click the Company drop-down button, and in the menu are the filter options to sort your data alphabetically, by color, and at the bottom are the options text filters. If you're searching for values found within your column, you can use the search bar and type in the value that you'd like to find. And then there is a list of the particular values found within this column. To quickly filter out specific data, in the list you can uncheck the Select All option and then go through the list and individually select the values you would like to view. If I scroll down this list and I'd, for example, only like to view the values relating to zebra sky, I can check the box next to that option and then click the OK button at the bottom center. The values displayed in my table have now reduced and only the data relating to the company zebra sky is displayed. You'll also see that the Company drop-down button has a filter icon displayed in it, indicating that a filter has been applied. If I'd like to edit this filter, I can select the Company drop-down button to open the Filter Options menu again, and from the list at the bottom, I can add values, for example Homotick, by checking the box next to it, then click the OK button. I've now modified the filter criteria and data values relating to the company Homotick also show in my table. If you'd like to clear the filter values, you can do that by clicking the Clear option in the Sort and Filter group of the Data tab. And this has quickly cleared the applied filter and sort options from the selected data range. You can also apply multiple column filters. So I'll select the Purchase Type drop-down button, then uncheck the option Select All, and from the list select the option Bedroom, then click the OK button. I can filter this data further. For example, I only want to see this data for the company Homotick, so I'll click the Company drop-down button, uncheck the option Select All, and then check the option Homotick. To apply this filter, click the OK button. As you can see, this will help you refine your data to find the precise values that you're looking for. If your data is continually updating and is dynamic, you will need to reapply your filters. To do this, go to the Sort and Filter group in the Data tab and click the Reapply option. This ensures that your data is being continually filtered when you insert new data. Now to clear my applied filters, I'm going to choose Clear in the top right-hand corner of the Sort and Filter group. To remove my filters altogether, I'll click the filter option in the sort and filter group, and all filter and sort options applied within my worksheet have been removed. This has been an overview on filtering the data in Excel. Column filters can be useful if you'd like to quickly show or hide different data values in a data range in Excel, but you can apply multiple filters to one or more columns of a worksheet to refine the data further. In this video, you will explore how to use column controls to apply multiple filters to the data in an Excel 365 worksheet. With the Data tab selected, if I go to the Sort and Filter group on the right-hand side of the Tools ribbon, I can see that the Filter button is highlighted, indicating that filtering is activated. And on the right-hand side of each column header cell is a drop-down button, which can be used to filter the data in this worksheet. In my worksheet, if I, for example, wanted to filter out a specific value found in the purchase type column, I can click the drop-down button in this header to open the filter menu. At the bottom of this menu is a search field, which you can use to search for a specific value. Rather than scrolling through the list of values below this, I'll click inside the field and type in the value kitchen. The list of values below updates and now displays the options Select All Search Results, Add Current Selection to Filter, and then My Value Kitchen. I'll leave both the first and third options checked, and I'll leave the option Add Current Selection to Filter unchecked, as this is the first filter I'm going to apply. To apply this, click the OK button at the bottom center. The Filter Kitchen has now been applied to the Purchase Type column in my worksheet. I can add an additional filter to this already filtered column. To do this, I'll click the Purchase Type drop-down button again, then go to the search field at the bottom of the filter menu, click inside it and type in the value bedroom. Again, the list below updates. Now, since I already have a filter applied to this column, I'm going to check the box next to the option Add Current Selection to Filter, then click the OK button. As you can see, I now have the two filtered items kitchen and bedroom applied to this particular column. Now, I can again add another filter to the purchase type column by clicking the drop-down button, and this time I'll go to the list of values at the bottom of the filter menu and manually select one of the options. I'll check the box next to bathroom, then click the OK button, and the filter bathroom has been applied to the selected column. You can also remove any of these filters. Click the drop-down button to open this column's filter menu. To remove all of the filters applied to this particular column, I can select the Clear Filter from Purchase Type option. To remove just one filter from this column, go to the list below and uncheck the filter value you'd like to remove. So I'll uncheck the box next to bathroom, then click the OK button. But if you'd like to remove all of the filters that you've applied to your worksheet, switch to the Data tab. Go to the Sort and Filter group and select the option Clear, and all applied filters have been removed. This has been an overview on applying multiple filters in Excel. In Excel 365, filter arguments can be used to query the data within a cell range and show values that meet defined filter criteria, such as equals, contains, and between. In this video, you will discover how to create filters using text and numeric arguments in Excel 365. In my worksheet, if I'm looking to filter according to text, for example the surname column, I can easily add a text filter. To do this, click this column's filter drop-down button to open the filter menu, go to the bottom of the menu and hover over the option Text Filters. In the side menu that opens on the right are multiple arguments that you can apply to find your specific text value, such as equals, does not equal, begins with, ends with, contains, does not contain, and custom filter. For example, if I'm looking for a value that's equal to a text value found within this column, I'll select the option equals. A custom autofilter dialog box opens. At the top left is a drop-down, and in it is the equals argument I selected. You can change this if you wish by clicking the drop-down button and selecting another argument from the menu. To the right of this is a field where you can type in the specific value that you're looking for. You can also click this field's drop-down. For example, I'll select the value Bailey, then click the OK button at the bottom right corner. My data values have now been quickly filtered by text, and my worksheet displays the data with the surname Bailey. To clear this filter, click the Surnames Filter drop-down button and select the option Clear Filter from Surname in the menu. You can also filter values according to a numeric argument. To demonstrate this, I'll go to the Purchase Total column, which has numerical values in it, and click its drop-down button. At the bottom of the menu, instead of the option text filters, you now have number filters, as it has switched to match the content type of the column. Hover over this to open the side menu where you have the different argument options such as equals, does not equal, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, between, top 10, above average, below average, and custom filter. This time, I'll select does not equal. The custom autofilter dialog box opens and the does not equal argument has been inserted into the top left field. Into the field, to the right of this, I'll type in the value 150, then click the OK button. My worksheet updates to now only show all of the values not equal to $150. Quickly switch to the Data tab, and I'll select the Clear option in the Sort and Filter group to remove any filters applied. You can also create a custom filter for your text or numerical values. For example, if I go back to my text values in the surname column, click its drop-down button and from the filter menu hover over text filters. At the bottom of the side menu you'll notice that you have the option custom filter. Click this to open the custom autofilter dialog box. From the custom filter menu, you can choose your specific arguments at the top left. So I'll click this drop-down, scroll down the list and select the option begins with. I'll click inside the field to the right of this and type in the letter C. If I want to filter multiple arguments at the same time, I can either select the AND option or the OR option on the left-hand side. Since I want to add another begins with letter, I'll select the option OR. Click the drop-down below this, scroll down the menu and select my second argument begins with. To the right of this, click inside the field and I'll insert my second letter B, then click the OK button. So now you can see that the surnames starting with C and B have been automatically filtered out of my data values. I'm going to go to the Sort and Filter group and select the Clear option. You can also filter a numeric range according to a custom argument. I'll click the Purchase Total drop-down, hover over Number Filters, and from the side menu select the argument greater than. The Custom Autofilter dialog box opens with the argument greater than selected at the top left. Click in the field to the right, and I'll type in the minimum value for my range, 150. Since I'm creating a range, on the left I'm going to be sure the option and is selected. Click the drop-down at the bottom left and select the argument less than. Click in the field to the right of this and insert the value 200, then click the OK button. So now I can see that the values between $150 and $200 have been filtered out of the specific data range. This has been an overview on building filter arguments in Excel. In Excel 365, you can use a separate table to create advanced filter criteria. Once you have defined the filter criteria, you can launch a filter by defining the data range and selecting the cells you want to use as criteria. These criteria cells can be combined as much as you want to create powerful filter operations. In this video, you will explore how to use the advanced filter tools in Excel. At the top left corner of my worksheet is a mini table where I want to add specific criteria to filter out of my larger table below. Now, the data you would like to find will depend on the table above. For example, I've chosen the three separate columns purchase total, company and purchase type for my mini table. I can use the criteria found in my data table below to conduct an advanced filter. To do this, I'm first going to establish my criteria. I want to filter out according to company and purchase type, so I'll select cell B2 and enter the criteria Homotic, which is one of the companies found below. Then I'll select cell C2 and enter the purchase type criteria Kitchen. To add a second criteria, I can go down to cell B3 and add an additional company, Zebra Sky, then select cell C3 and add the purchase type Living Room. After I've added my filter criteria, I'm going to need to access the advanced filter options. To do this, I'll first click outside of my data in the worksheet, then I'm going to switch to the Data tab. On the right-hand side of the Tools ribbon, go to the Sort and Filter group and select the option Advanced. The Advanced Filter dialog box opens. At the top, I have two action options. I can filter the list in place or I can copy to another location. I'm going to leave the option Filter the list in place selected. Below this, you'll be able to see your list range. Excel has automatically detected my table as my list, but if this is incorrect, you can select the cell selection icon on the right-hand side of the field and then choose your corresponding list range. Just below, I'm going to need to define my criteria range. Since I established my criteria in my mini table above, I'm going to need to scroll back up the worksheet, and I'm going to select the cell range B1 to C3, which includes the table headers, as well as the criteria cells I entered in earlier. Once I've selected my criteria, at the bottom left I can check the box next to the option Include Unique Records Only. Once I've selected my advanced filter options, I'll click the OK button at the bottom center, and I can see that my data has been filtered out in my table below according to the criteria I established in my mini table at the top left. Now, if I'd like to quickly clear this filter, I can go back to the Sort and Filter group in the Tools ribbon and select the Clear option, and the filter has been removed from the second table. Depending on how specific you want to be, the more filter criteria that you define in the Advanced Filter Criteria table, the more the results will be refined. This has been an overview on performing advanced filtering in Excel. If you've applied colored fields to various data entries in a table, you can use those colors to filter and sort the data. You might, for example, want to visualize only the values that have been highlighted in red. In this video, you will explore how to filter and sort values by color in Excel 365. Before I sort or filter my data by color, I first need to make sure that filters have been applied to my column headers and that a background fill color has been applied to my data values. To apply filters, with the Home tab selected, go to the Editing group on the far right of the Tools ribbon, click the Sort and Filter drop-down and select Filter from the menu. Drop-down filter buttons now appear on the right-hand side of each of my column header cells, which can be used to filter the worksheet data. Now, if I want to filter my values according to color, I can click one of the header filter drop-down buttons. I'll click the Company drop-down button to open the filter menu. In the center of this menu, hover over the Filter by Color option. A side menu opens on the right. The options displayed in this menu may differ depending on how many and which type of colors you've applied to your data cells. In this menu are the two color options green and salmon, which I've applied to my cells, as well as the option No Fill. Note that if you were to select the option No Fill, this would filter the values that have no fill color applied, which would only display the values that aren't color-coded and hide the values with the color fill. If I want to filter my values by the color green, I can select that option in the menu and I'll be able to see that only the data values colored green appear in my worksheet. To remove the applied filter, I'm going to switch to the Data tab, go to the Sort and Filter group on the right-hand side and select the Clear option. And the filter is now removed from the table. You can also sort your data by color. To do this, I'll click the Surname Filter drop-down button, and from the top of the filter menu, hover over the option Sort by Cell Color. A side menu then opens on the right with my two color options green and salmon, and the options No Fill and Custom Sort. I want to change my sort order to the salmon color located in my worksheet, so I'll select that color option in the side menu. And now all of the data values that are filled in using the color salmon appear at the top of my worksheet. You can apply a different sort by color if you wish. I'll click a Filter drop-down button again, hover over the Sort by Color option in the Filter menu, and from the side menu, if this time I were to select the color green, my values would be sorted first by the color green, then by the color salmon, followed by all of the values that aren't color-coded. But if I select the option No Fill, my table has now been sorted so that all of the values not filled in with a color appear at the top. If I scroll down, next are my values colored in salmon, and finally the data values that have been filled in green. This has been an overview on filtering and sorting using colors in Excel. In Excel 365, you can use sort options to organize and order the data in a table. You can specify the criteria that you want to use. You can, for example, sort a data range using alphabetical order or from smallest to largest value. In this video, you will explore how to sort data in Excel 365. To quickly sort the data in my worksheet, with the Home tab selected, I can go to the Editing group on the far right of the Tools ribbon. Within the Editing group, you'll find your Sort and Filter options. Now, the sort options available will depend on the cell you've selected in your worksheet. Here I have cell B5 selected, which contains text data. So if I click the Sort and Filter drop-down button, in the menu are the options to sort the data alphabetically from A to Z, to sort it from Z to A, and the option to custom sort. If I select cell C3, which contains a numerical value, and I then click the Sort and Filter button again, this time in the menu you have the option to sort the data from smallest to largest, sort it largest to smallest, and the option Custom Sort again. I'll click Away to close this menu. These sort options are also available via the Data tab. So if I switch to the Data tab, on the right-hand side of the Tools ribbon is the Sort and Filter group, and on the left of this group are the sort options smallest to largest displayed as an AZ icon, and the option largest to smallest displayed as a ZA icon. I'll click the Sort Smallest to Largest button. The values in my worksheet have now been rearranged, as the data in column C has been sorted into smallest to largest. Note that you can also do the reverse and sort from largest to smallest by clicking the Sort Largest to Smallest button below this. If I now select cell B3, which contains a text value, and then go to the sort options in the Sort and Filter group, at the top left of the group is the option to sort alphabetically from A to Z, and below this is the option to sort from Z to A. So if I click the Sort A to Z button, the data in my worksheet has once again been rearranged, as the text values in column B have been sorted alphabetically from A to Z. You also have the option to create your own custom sort. For example, I'd like to sort the date values located in column G, so I'll select cell G3 within this column, then go to the Sort and Filter group and click the Sort button. A Sort dialog box opens. In this box, the sort options are now categorized by column, sort on and order, so I can sort by a specific column by clicking the Sort by Column drop-down and from the menu select one of the column headings. So I'll select the option Order Date. To the right of this, you can then choose what you would like to sort on. Click the Sort On drop-down and in the menu you can sort on cell values, cell color, font color or the conditional formatting icon. I'll select the option Cell Values. Lastly, you'll need to choose your sort order. Click the Order drop-down and since I have a date column selected, in the menu are the options to sort from oldest to newest, newest to oldest, and the option Custom List. I'll select newest to oldest. To apply these sort options, click the OK button at the bottom right corner, and the values in the Order Date column have been sorted from newest to oldest. This has been an overview on sorting the data in Excel. In Excel 365, you can create multiple sort levels to change how data is presented, and you can create data groups within a cell range. You can also reorganize these levels to adjust how your data is grouped when sorting. In this video, you will explore how to apply multiple sort levels in Excel. There are a few different ways you can access your custom sort options. First, from your Home tab towards the right-hand side of the Tools ribbon is the Editing group, where you'll find the Sort and Filter drop-down button. Click this and in the menu is the option Custom Sort. You can also access the Custom Sort option directly from the Data tab. Go to the Data tab and in the Sort and Filter group on the right-hand side of the ribbon, click the Sort button. The Sort dialog box then opens. In this box, the first sort level is available to be specified using the Sort by Column, Sort On and Order options. To add another sort level, click the Add Level button at the top left corner of the window. Another sort level called Then By has been added below the Sort By level in the window. When creating your sort levels, you need to choose the column that you'd like to sort by. To do this for the first sort level, I'll click the Sort by Column drop-down, and from the list I'll select the column header purchase type. To the right of this, you can choose your Sort On option. If a text column has been specified, you will see that the default Sort On option is Cell Values. Click the Sort On drop-down and in the menu are the options to sort on cell values, cell color, font color, or conditional formatting icon. I'll select the option Cell Values. Next, you can choose your sort order. Again, if a text column is selected, by default the sort order is from A to Z. Click this drop-down, and you also have the option to sort from Z to A. But if the selected column has numerical values, the order options will be from smallest to largest and largest to smallest. I'll select the option A to Z. I'll now do the same for the Then By sort level. Click the column drop-down and select the column purchase total. I'm happy with the default Sort On option Cell Values. I'll click the Order drop-down and this time select the option Largest to Smallest. If you'd like to save time creating your sort levels, you can copy them. To do this, first select the sort level you'd like copied. Then, at the top center of the dialog box, click the Copy Level button. A new Then By level has been added below the other two sort levels. As you can see, you can create multiple levels quickly by selecting the Copy Level option. A copied level is editable using the Column, Sort On and Order drop-down menus, same as demonstrated earlier with the other two levels. You can also change the order in which your sort levels are applied using the up and down arrow buttons at the top center of the dialog box. So if I'd like to move the last sort level to be applied first, with that level selected, I'll click the up arrow button twice to move it to the top of the list. The same goes if you want to move a level down the list. First select your level, then click the down arrow button to move it down the list. If you'd like to apply specific option to a sort level, you can select the level, then click the Options button at the top right of the dialog box. This then opens the Sort Options dialog box, which contains the option to make the sort level case sensitive and to change the orientation to sort either from top to bottom or from left to right. When you're happy with your selections, you can click the OK button at the bottom left. I'll close this window by clicking the X icon at the top right corner. Finally, you can also remove a sort level that you no longer need. To do this, first select the sort level that you're no longer using, then select the Delete Level button at the top left of the dialog box, and the selected level has been deleted from the list. To apply the sort levels to your worksheet data, select the OK button at the bottom right corner. So now you can see that I have multiple sorts applied to my data. I can see that my values within the purchase total column take precedence over my purchase type values. This has been an overview on applying multiple sort levels in Excel. When sorting data, you can use or create custom sort lists for data that doesn't sort alphabetically. This is particularly useful if your data contains days of the week or months of the year, or if you are sorting data that features text-based ranking systems such as low, high, and urgent priorities. In this video, you will explore how to apply a custom sort list in Excel 365. When sorting data, you can use or create your own custom sort list. Now in column D of my worksheet, I have a list of dates. I would like to organize these dates by month. I can easily do this by first selecting a cell within column D and then with the Home tab selected towards the right-hand side of the Tools ribbon within the Editing group, click the Sort and Filter drop-down button. And from the menu select the Custom Sort option. The Sort dialog box opens. On the left, I can click the Sort by Column drop-down and choose my date of birth column from the list. To the right of this is Sort On. I'm going to leave the option Cell Value selected. Now on the right-hand side, I'll click the Order drop-down. Since it's detected that this is a date column, in the menu are the options to sort by oldest to newest or newest to oldest. I don't want to use either of these options, so I'll click on Custom List at the bottom of the menu. The Custom Lists dialog box opens. On the left of this window is a Custom Lists box containing default custom lists that you can apply to your data ranges. For example, here I have the option to apply abbreviated days of the week, full days of the week, or abbreviated months or full months. For example, I'll select the line that displays the months in an abbreviated form. That option now appears in the List Entries box on the right of the window. To apply this new list, select the OK button at the bottom right. The Custom List dialog box closes and the Order field in the Sort dialog box displays the names of the months in their abbreviated form. To apply the sort, click the OK button at the bottom right. Rather than customizing by months or days, I can also create my own custom list. I'd like to do this for my purchase type column, so I'll select a cell within column F. To do this, I'll click the Sort and Filter drop-down in the Editing group and select the option Custom Sort, then click the Sort by drop-down on the left of the Sort window and select Purchase Type from the list. Then click the Order drop-down on the right and select the option Custom List at the bottom of the menu. The Custom Lists dialog box once again displays. To create a new custom list, select New List on the left-hand side, and then insert your list entries into the field on the right-hand side. To create your entries, you're going to need to separate each one by a comma. I want the value kitchen to appear first as it's the most important item, so I'm going to type in kitchen, followed by a comma and then a space, and I can continue entering in my values using this format. After I've created my entries, I can click the Add button on the right. Those list entries now appear in the Custom Lists list box. You can modify these entries at any time by selecting the List Entries field and making changes as needed. Once my list entries have been created, I'll click the OK button at the bottom right to add my list. The Order field in the Sort dialog box now displays my custom list. So now the purchase type column will be ordered with the value kitchen first, followed by bedroom, bathroom, and living room. To apply the sort, click the OK button. The Sort dialog box closes and the sort selections have been applied to column F. A custom sort list can also be removed by clicking the Sort and Filter drop-down in the Tools ribbon and select Custom Sort. On the right of the Sort dialog box, click the Order drop-down and select the option Custom List to open the Custom Lists dialog box. On the left, choose the list you would like to delete, then click the Delete button on the right-hand side. When you do this, a notification will display stating that this will be a permanent deletion. To continue, click the OK button and my custom list no longer appears in this window. Close this by clicking the OK button at the bottom right, and close the Sort dialog box by clicking the X icon at the top right. This has been an overview on using custom sort lists in Excel. Excel 365 offers a number of additional tools that you can use to change how you sort your data. You can include or exclude header data in your operation, change the sort orientation from vertical to horizontal, and apply case-sensitive sorting. In this video, you will explore how to perform advanced sorting in Excel 365. Now that you've seen how to add a sort to your data, you can access the advanced sort settings to refine your sorting even further. To access the advanced sorting options, you'll need to first switch to the Data tab, then go to the Sort and Filter group in the Tools ribbon and click the Sort button. The Sort dialog box then opens. When you're applying a sort, you will see above that you have a few different options. Note that at the top right of the window, by default the option My Data Has Headers checkbox is selected, which is necessary to ensure the column headers aren't rearranged along with any sorted cell values during a sort operation. To access further tools that you can use to sort your data, click the Options button at the top right of the window. The Sort Options dialog box displays. At the top is the option Case Sensitive. If you enable this option, this will rearrange the data based on whether it's lowercase or uppercase. This is useful if you have data values that may appear in lowercase as well as uppercase. In order to organize my values according to case, I'll check the box next to this option. And below that you have your orientation options. If you have a worksheet with column headers, by default it's set to sort your data from top to bottom, but you can also set it to sort from left to right. I'll leave it set to sort from top to bottom. To apply these changes, click the OK button at the bottom left. The Sort Options dialog box closes. Now, in order to view what your case-sensitive values will look like when you add a sort, you can click Sort by Column or Sort by Row if you changed your orientation, and from the menu I'll select the company column. To the right of that, I'll click the Sort On drop-down, and from the menu you can sort on cell values, cell color, font color or conditional formatting icon. I'll leave it set to cell values, so I'll click Away to close this. And then I'm going to click the Order drop-down menu, and here I have the option A to Z. If you've applied the case-sensitive feature, uppercase letters will precede lowercase letters if the order category A to Z is selected. If you select the order category Z to A, lowercase letters will precede uppercase letters in the sort. I'll select the option A to Z. Once you're done choosing your sort criteria, click the OK button in the bottom right corner to apply your sort. The Sort dialog box closes, and the selections made have been applied to the company column in my worksheet. Now I can see that the data in the company column has been sorted in the order A to Z, as well as lowercase if I'd added any to those particular column values. This has been an overview on performing advanced sorting in Excel. Excel 365 features a Remove Duplicates command that can be used to find and delete duplicate values that exist in a data table or cell range. In this video, you'll discover how to remove duplicate values in Excel 365. Before you start removing your duplicate values, first you must define the range to check in, whether that's the entire worksheet or a specific cell range. I'd like to check my whole worksheet for duplicate values, so I'll click the Select All button at the top left corner of my worksheet to highlight all of the cells, then switch to the Data tab, go to the Data Tools group on the right-hand side of the Tools ribbon, and in the center click the Remove Duplicates button. The Remove Duplicates dialog box displays. If your selected range doesn't contain column headers, at the top right of the window you'll need to uncheck the My Data Has Headers checkbox. As my range does have headers, I'll leave this option selected. At the bottom left is a column section displaying a list of all of the column names in my range. Using the checkboxes to the left of each column header, go through and uncheck the boxes of the columns you don't want Excel to check in. If your range has a lot of column headings and you only want Excel to check for duplicates in a few fields, rather than manually unchecking each box, you can click the Unselect All button at the top center of the window. This then clears all of the checkboxes. You can then go through and check the boxes of the fields you want Excel to check in. I want to check all of the columns, so I'll click the Select All button at the top left to quickly check all the boxes again. When you're happy with your selection, you can click the OK button at the bottom right of the window. But note before doing this that Excel doesn't give you the option to confirm the deletion of duplicate records, so make sure that you want to do this before clicking the OK button. And Excel has now successfully deleted any duplicate records it's found within my worksheet. A Microsoft Excel dialog box also displays stating how many duplicate records were found and removed, and how many unique values remain. Close this by clicking the OK button at the bottom center. This has been an overview on removing duplicate values in Excel. In Excel 365, you can use the SUMIF and SUMIFS functions to perform a conditional sum calculation on a cell range based on certain criteria being met. In this video, you will explore how to insert and use conditional sum formulas in Excel. In my worksheet table is an order value and paid in advance column. I'd like to quickly add up the values that have not been paid in advance, and to do this, I'll use the SUMIF formula. This formula is useful as it allows you to add up values that meet a specific criteria. I'll be using the separate table at the top left to show this formula, so I'll click inside cell E2, insert an equal sign followed by SUMIF and an open parenthesis. Next, I'm going to need to choose my range of values. Since I'm looking to find orders that have not been paid in advance, I'm going to go to the Paid in Advance column and highlight that cell range. I'll then scroll back up and insert a comma. Next, I need to specify my criteria. I'm looking for orders not paid in advance, so between quotation marks I'll type in the word no, since this is what appears in my column. Then insert another comma. And finally, I'll need to choose my sum range, which will be my order values, as these are the values that need to be totaled. I'll then scroll back up, insert a close parenthesis and press the Enter key to calculate, and the formula has quickly calculated those values. If I change my mind and would like to calculate the value of the orders that have been paid in advance, I can easily do this by selecting cell E2 again. Go to the formula bar above the worksheet, select the text No and instead insert the word Yes, then press the Enter key to recalculate, and the SUMIF total updates accordingly. The SUMIF function can also be used to calculate the total for values that meet a particular date range, rather than a text-based criteria. In cell E3, I'd like to calculate the value of the total orders after the 7th of January 2021. To do this, I'll insert an equal sign, followed by SUMIF and an open parenthesis. Next, select the range which will be my date values in the order date column, then insert a comma. My criteria is the values after the specific date the 7th of January 2021, so within quotation marks type in a greater than symbol, followed by the date 07 / the month 01 / the year 2021, and then a comma. And finally select the sum range, which will be the values in the order value column. Scroll back up, close off the parentheses and press the Enter key to calculate. If you'd like to go a bit further and add multiple criteria, you can use the SUMIF's formula. Into cell E4, I'd like to calculate the total unpaid orders after the 7th of January 2021. To calculate this, insert an equal sign followed by SUMIFs and then an open parenthesis. Now you'll notice with this formula that you'll need to select your sum range first, so I'm going to highlight the data in the order value range, then insert a comma. Next, I'll need to choose my first criteria range. As I'm looking for unpaid orders, I'll highlight the values in the paid in advance range, insert another comma, and then specify the criteria. Since its order is not paid in advance, in quotation marks type in no and insert another comma. Now I need to select my second criteria range, which will be the date values in the order date column, followed by a comma, and then specify this criteria. So within quotation marks, I'll insert a greater than symbol, followed by the date the 7th of January 2021 in the date/month/year format as previously shown. Close off the parentheses and press the Enter key to calculate. So now I've added two different criteria, and any values that meet those criteria have been totaled. You can go even further with the SUMIF's formula by adding a range. In cell E5, I have already calculated the total unpaid orders between the 1st and 5th of January 2021. So as you can see in the formula bar, I have completed it with the date range, so I had to select my date column twice. So I selected my order date column range, and then in quotation marks a greater than and equal sign, and then the date the 1st of January 2021. I then selected the order date range again, followed by quotation marks, a less than symbol and equal symbol, and then the 5th of January 2021. When you're using the SUMIF's formula, you can add multiple criteria. So in total, I have 3 criteria added, even though I've selected the same criteria twice. This has been an overview on inserting a conditional sum formula in Excel. The if function is made up of a range, a condition, a value if true, and a value if false. It can be used to display one message if a condition is met and another if the condition is not met. In this video, you'll explore how to use the if function to insert a conditional message formula. In column D of my worksheet, I have specified whether or not the orders on the left-hand side will receive a promotional code. In column E, I want to quickly see which orders will have a discount applied to them. Now, in order to compose a simple binary discount or no discount answer, I can use the if function. To do this, I'm going to select cell E2, insert an equal symbol followed by if and an open parenthesis. Next, I need to define the logical text value, which will be if the value yes is displayed in cell D2, I want to apply the text discount. If the text displayed is no, I want no discount to be displayed in the cell. Now to compose my logical test, I'm first going to select cell D2, which is where I'd like to perform the test, followed by an equal sign and then the text yes in quotation marks, then insert a comma. After I've done this, I'm going to need to insert the value if true, which will be discount in quotation marks again, then insert another comma. So if the value matches the logical text, the text discount will display. The next argument is value if false. So if the values do not match this logical test, I want the text no discount to be displayed, so I'm going to insert no discount in quotation marks, close off the parenthesis and press the enter key to calculate, and the data in cell E2 now reads no discount. To apply this formula to the rest of the column E cell range, I can use the autofill feature. I'll select cell E2 again, hover over the bottom right corner of the cell, and when my cursor changes to a black plus symbol, click and drag the mouse over the cell range. When you release your mouse click, the formula results for each corresponding cell in column D will display. You can also quickly remove the applied formula from these cells by highlighting the column E cell range and then press the delete key on your keyboard, and the column E cells now appear empty. This has been an overview on inserting a conditional message formula in Excel. In Excel 365, the if function can be used in conjunction with other functions to create a complex formula. With conditional formulas, you can create conditions based on calculations and analyze your data in a variety of ways. In this video, you'll explore how to combine conditional functions in a formula. In column E of my table, I want to quickly apply a discount to any orders that have been paid in advance. To do this, I'll combine the if and the and formula together to compose a message. I'll first select cell E2, insert an equal sign followed by if, and then two open parentheses, as I'll be combining two different formulas. Next, I have to define the first logical test. This will be whether or not the order has been paid in advance, so I'll select cell C2, insert an equals followed by the text yes in quotation marks, and then close the parentheses. Now that I've defined my first logical test, I'm going to insert an asterisk symbol to signify multiplication, and then I'm going to type in the and formula and an open parenthesis. Once done, I'm going to need to choose the logical test, which will be whether or not they receive a promotional code as well. So if the order has been paid in advance and receives a promotional code, I want to apply a 20% discount. First, I'm going to need to define my second logical test, which will be the promotional code. I'm going to select cell D2, insert an equal sign followed by the text yes in quotation marks, close off the parentheses and insert a comma. Next, I'm going to display the values if true. If the value equals yes, I want the text 20% discount to display. So within quotation marks, I'll type that in and then insert a comma. And if these criteria are not met, so if they are both false, I want the text displayed to be no discount. So within quotation marks, type in no discount. After I've done this, I can close off the parentheses, and to calculate I'm going to press the enter key. The text no discount now displays in cell E2, indicating that the first order will not receive a promotional discount. I can select cell E2 again, go down to the bottom right-hand corner, double select the autofill option, and I can see which orders will receive a discount for the rest of the column E cells. At the bottom left, I'll switch to the Supplier Orders Worksheet tab. Here I have a list of orders. I want to apply a 5% discount for values over $1,500. I can use the if formula to perform a simple, logical test. First, I'll select cell I4, insert an equal followed by if and an open parenthesis. To give a 5% discount to values over $1,500, I'm first going to define the logical test. This is the order value, so select cell H4, and it's going to need to be greater than, so I'll insert a greater than symbol and then 1500, followed by a comma. And if this value is true, I want the text yes to display in the cell, so insert the text yes within quotation marks and then a comma. If the value is not over $1,500, I want the text no to display, so insert no within quotation marks. Close the parentheses and press the enter key to calculate. The value yes displays in cell I4, meaning the order value in the corresponding cell is over $1,500. If I'd like to apply the formula to the rest of the column I cells, select cell I4, go to the bottom right and double-click the autofill option. I also want to calculate the price after the discount is applied. To calculate the discount, I'm going to use the if formula. Select cell J4, insert an equals followed by if and an open parenthesis. Then I need to define my logical test once again, which will be if I4 equals yes. So select that cell, insert an equals, the text yes within quotation marks, and then a comma. To apply the discount, select cell H4 where the order value is, and I'm going to multiply this value by inserting the multiplication asterisk symbol, then to add a 5% discount type in 0.95, then insert a comma. Next, define the value if false. So if no discount is applied, I want to leave it as its original value in column H, so select cell H4 again. Close the parentheses and press enter to calculate. Since the first order value receives a 5% discount, the discount price is now displayed in cell J4. This has been an overview on using complex conditional formulas in Excel. If you want to return more than 2 possible messages in Excel, you can. You can use nested functions within a formula in order to obtain results based on multiple criteria. In this video, you will explore how to create a formula with nested functions in Excel. In my worksheet, if I'd like to quickly evaluate whether or not certain orders will receive a 5%, 15% or no discount, I can compose a simple, logical test using the if formula. To do this, I'm going to first select cell I4, insert an equal sign followed by if and an open parenthesis. Now, once I've done this, I'm going to select my order value cell H4. If this value is greater than the amount 500, I want to apply a 5% discount, so I'll insert a greater than symbol, followed by 500 and then a comma. To add another logical test, I'll need to insert a second nested if function, so I'll insert if and an open parenthesis, select the order value cell H4 again, and if the value in column H is over 1000, I want to apply a 15% discount. To do this, insert a greater than symbol followed by 1000 and a comma. If the value in column H is greater than 1000, I want the text 15% discount to display, so within quotation marks I'll type in 15% discount, followed by a comma. If the value is greater than 500, I want the text 5% discount to show, so within quotation marks type in 5% discount and close the parentheses. Then insert a comma. Next, I need to insert the text if the value is false. So if the value does not exceed 500 or 1000, I want the text no to display, so within quotation marks type in no. After I've done this, I can close off the parentheses and press enter to quickly evaluate whether or not the order will receive a 5%, 15% or no discount. The value 15% discount now displays in cell I4, meaning that will be applied as the value is over 1000. To apply this to the rest of the column cells, I'll select cell I4, go to the bottom right and click and drag the autofill icon over the cells I want to fill. In cell J4, I want to calculate the price after the discount is applied, rather than just displaying that it qualifies for the discount. To do this, I'll copy the formula in cell I4 by selecting that cell and then pressing Ctrl+C, select cell J4, and then press Ctrl+V to paste. With cell J4 selected, go to the formula bar above the worksheet. To calculate the price after discount, I need to multiply the discount amount by that of the order value. So within the formula, I'll first replace the cell reference I4 with the order value cell reference H4. Then highlight the 15% discount in quotation marks and delete it by pressing the backspace key. Instead of this, I'll need to multiply the order value in cell H4 with the discount amount, which will be 0.85. So type in H4, followed by an asterisk symbol and then 0.85, then press the enter key to apply the formula. The formula has now calculated the value of the order after the 15% discount has been applied. I'd like to do the same for the 5% discount value below, so I'll select cell J4 and apply the formula by going to the bottom right and click and drag the black plus icon over cell J5. Go to the formula bar and highlight the 5% discount in quotation marks and delete it by pressing the backspace key. I need to multiply the order value in cell H5 with the discount amount of 5%, which will be 0.95. So type in H5, followed by an asterisk symbol and then 0.95, then press the enter key to apply the formula. The formula has now calculated the value of the order after the 5% discount has been applied. This has been an overview on creating a formula with nested functions in Excel. If you have a lot of data to analyze in a short time, you can use conditional formatting rules to highlight specific cells, rows or columns. In this video, you'll explore how to call out data with conditional formatting rules. I'd like to highlight specific cells in my worksheet to better analyze my data. For example, in my stock column, I'm looking for a particular value that is below a certain number. I can use conditional formatting to highlight those cells. First, I'm going to need to select this column cell range. Then from the Home tab, go to the Styles group on the right of the ribbon and click the Conditional Formatting drop-down. At the top of the menu, hover over the option Highlight Cell Rules. In the flyout menu on the right are the options to choose a value greater than, less than, between, equal to, text that contains, a date occurring, duplicate values or more rules. I'll select the option less than. In the less than dialog box that opens, you can set the threshold value. I'm looking for values less than 20, so I'll type in 20 into the field on the left. You can then select a format by clicking the drop-down on the right. In the menu, you'll see pre-configured formats that you can apply for your conditional formatting rule, such as light red fill with dark red text, yellow fill with dark yellow text, green fill with dark green text, light red fill, red text, red border, or if you prefer to create your own custom format, you can select that option from the bottom. I'll select the default light red fill with dark red text, then click the OK button at the bottom right. My rule has now been applied, and cells containing a value less than 20 are filled with the light red color, and the text in these cells are now a dark red color. Now, if you have an exceptionally wide data sheet, this may not be as useful as you'll need to highlight the whole row. In order to apply a rule and highlight your entire row, you'll need to first select your data range, so I'm going to select all of the values of my worksheet. Once done, I'm going to click the conditional formatting drop-down and select New Rule from the menu. The new formatting dialog box opens. From the list at the top, I'll select the option Use a formula to determine which cells to format. Below this is the format values where this formula is true field. Here, I need to choose the values that I would like to apply if true. For example, in my stock column, I would like to locate values that are above a certain value. To do this, insert an equal sign followed by the cell reference. To include the whole row, first insert a dollar symbol, the letter F, and I'm going to start with the first value within this column, which is F2, so insert 2 further row. To look for values above the number 600, insert the greater than symbol followed by the text 600. Then I'll click the Format button at the bottom right to open the Format Cells window. From here, you can choose to format your cell's font, border and fill. From the Font tab, I'm going to add a bold text by clicking the bold option from the Font Style box at the top right, then click the Fill tab, and I'll apply a standard color by selecting the color green from the background color gallery on the left. Click the OK button at the bottom right. To apply this rule, click the OK button at the bottom of the new formatting rule window. Now in my worksheet, the green color and a bold font is applied to the rows that have the stock value greater than 600. You can do the same for the entire columns. At the bottom left, I'll click the CP 2021 Worksheet tab. From here, I'd like to find columns where there are missing values. First, I'll highlight all of the values within this table. Then go to the Styles group and click the Conditional Formatting drop-down and select the option New Rule. From the list at the top of the New Formatting Rules window, I'll select Use a formula to determine which cells to format. Below this, into the Format Values where this formula is true field, I'll enter my formula, which is an equals followed by the formula is number and an open parenthesis. Next, choose the value in which to calculate this particular format with. Since I want to analyze whether there are values missing in the purchase total row, I'm going to insert the first cell reference for this row, cell B5. Make sure there is a dollar sign between the column letter and row number in order to include the entire column. Close the parenthesis and then click the Format button at the bottom right. From the Format Cells window, switch to the Fill tab. I'll select the green color again from the gallery on the left, then click the OK button. To apply this rule, click the OK button in the new Formatting Rule window, and now all of the columns that meet this criteria have the color green applied to them. This has been an overview on calling out data with conditional formatting in Excel. In Excel 365, you can use conditional formulas with functions, such as SUBCRIBE, to extract specific values from an existing data table. This can be very useful if you're looking to find the total number of purchases in a particular date range. In this video, you'll explore how to use conditional formulas to count up value occurrences. In my worksheet, I have a table with data values about customer orders, and above it is a mini table where I'll be conducting my calculations. I'd like to calculate how many orders were placed in December of 2020. To do this, I'll need to combine a few different functions. I'll need to use the SUMPRODUCT function, followed by the month and year functions. First, I'll select cell F3 where I'd like my function inserted, then type in an equal sign followed by SUMPRODUCT and an open parenthesis. As I'll be combining multiple functions, I'm going to insert another open parenthesis. Next, I'll insert the month function, followed by an open parenthesis. Once I've done this, I need to select my date cell range where the months are contained, so I'm going to go down and select the data within the cell range E7 to E19. Once I've done that, I'll scroll back up and close off the first parentheses. Next, I can add my condition to the month function. As I'm only looking for orders that occurred in the 12th month of the year, i.e. December, I'll insert an equal symbol and I'll use the cell reference E3, which contains the month number 12, then close off the parentheses. Since I'm going to be multiplying this by the year as well, I'll insert an asterisk symbol, which stands for multiplication. Insert an open parenthesis followed by the year function and another open parenthesis. Again, I need to select the cell range where the year values are contained. I'll type in the cell range E7 to E19 manually, close off the parentheses again. Next, we need to specify the condition for the year function. To insert the absolute value reference indicating the relevant year 2020, I'll insert an equal sign and then select cell E4, which contains that value. Close off the parentheses for the year function and close off the parentheses once again, this time for the entire formula. Finally, press the Enter key on your keyboard to calculate. Now in cell F3, the formula has calculated that 8 orders were placed in the 12th month of the year 2020. Once you've composed the formula, you can change the data in your reference cells in order to find values in different locations. For example, if I'm looking to find values within the 11th month of 2020, I can click on cell E3, which contains the month value, and then type in the number 11. When I select outside of this cell, I can see that the value in cell F3 changes. And now displays the value 2, meaning that in November 2020, 2 orders were placed. As you can see, this will save you a lot of time from having to go through and manually calculate for each month and each year. This has been an overview on counting up value occurrences in Excel. In Excel 365, you can perform logical operations, such as using the not function to check if one value is not equal to another. You can even combine qualifying and alternative conditions, such as combining the or and if functions in a formula. In this video, you'll explore the if, or, and not logical functions in conditional formulas. In Excel, you can combine qualifying and alternative conditions in your if formula. This allows you to specify various different optional conditions that can be met when calculating your formula. In my worksheet, I'd like to calculate whether or not my order will receive a discount. You can use the if formula to get a standard binary response, such as yes or no, or even apply the discount itself. But I'd like to go further and combine multiple criteria. For example, if the value is over a certain amount or if the value is paid in advance, I'd like to apply the discount. To do this, I'll combine the if and or functions. In order to combine these two functions, I'm first going to select my cell K4, insert an equal sign followed by the if function and an open parenthesis. Then I'm going to type in the or function with another open parenthesis. Next, I need to define my first logical test. So to apply the discount if the order is paid in advance, I'm going to select the reference cell J4. And if this cell has the value yes in it, I want to apply the discount. So insert an equal sign followed by the value yes within quotation marks. I'm going to need to apply a second logical test. Insert a comma followed by a space. If the value is greater than or equal to $2,500, I'd like to apply the discount. So select the order value cell reference I4, insert a greater than and equal symbol, followed by the value 2500. Now, once I've established my logical test, I'm going to close off that parenthesis and insert a comma. I now have my two criteria. If either of these criteria are met, I'm going to have to choose which value will be applied. Since I want to apply a discount, I'm going to select the order value in cell I4, insert an asterisk symbol to indicate multiplication. As I'd like to apply a 20% discount, I'll need to multiply that value by 0.8, then insert a comma. Next, I need to specify the value if false. If the value does not meet either of those criteria, I want to leave it as it is, so I'm going to select the order value cell once again. Once I've determined my criteria and my value if true or if false, close off the parentheses and press enter to calculate. So I can see that the value has met both the paid in advance and order value criteria, as a 20% discount has been applied to that value in cell K4. And if I wish, I can quickly find out the values for the rest of the orders using the autofill feature to quickly fill out the formula below. In Excel, you can also use the not function to test logical values. The not function returns the opposite of a logical value. I'll switch to the Grades Worksheet tab at the bottom left. For example, I want to see if the score values in column E pass or fail. To do this, I'll first select cell F2, insert an equal sign followed by not and an open parenthesis, and then I can perform a simple logical test. So if my test is going to be if the score values are less than 75, I'll select the cell reference E2, insert a less than symbol, and then the number 75. Close off the parentheses and press the Enter key to calculate. And I can see that this value is false. To apply this to the rest of this column cells, I'll select cell F2 again, go down to the bottom right of it and double-click to activate the autofill feature. And I can now see who has passed or failed the exam criteria. This has been an overview on using if or and not in conditional formulas in Excel. In Excel, you may sometimes need to find a cell value by using its positional coordinates in the table. You can do this with the match and offset formulas. In this video, you'll explore how to use reference positions with conditional formulas. On the right of my worksheet is a reference table, which I'd like to use to find specific values from the table on the left. For example, if I'd like to quickly reference the month number for October, which I've referenced above in cell G2, I can use the match formula to do this. First, I'm going to select cell G4, insert an equals followed by match and an open parenthesis. Next, I need to insert the lookup value. This is the value that I'm looking to find, which is the month I've mentioned in cell G2, so I'll select that, then insert a comma. Next, I need to choose the lookup array. This is where the value is contained, so I'll go to my table on the left and select all of the month values in column A, then insert another comma. And you'll now see a drop-down menu appear with the options 1 less than, 0 exact match or -1 greater than. As I'm looking for an exact match of my value, I'll select that option from the menu, and this then inserts the value 0 into my formula. I can now close off the parentheses and press enter to quickly find out which month of the year October is located in, and in cell G4 I can see that the month number is 10, indicating that October is the 10th month of the year. Next, I'd like to find the profit total for the month October in year 3. To do this, I can use the match formula that I've already composed above, and I can use this in the offset formula. First, select cell G5, insert an equal sign followed by offset and an open parenthesis. Next, I'm going to choose the reference, which is the year. I have this located in cell A2, so I'll select that, then insert a comma. Next, I need to define the row reference, which contains the specific month number located in the row. To do this, I'm going to select the formula I've just calculated with match in cell G4, which contains the 10th month value. Then insert another comma. Lastly, I have to specify which column this relates to, which is year 3. To add this, I'll select the cell reference G3. Close off the parentheses and press enter to calculate. The profit total for October in year 3 now displays in cell G5, and I can see that this corresponds with the value in my table on the left. Lastly, you can also create a rolling total for a specific month by combining the offset formula with the sum formula. To do this, I'm first going to select cell G6, insert an equal followed by sum and an open parenthesis. Next, insert the offset formula followed by another open parenthesis. After I've done this, I need to select my reference. Again, this will be the year value in cell A2. Then insert a comma. Next, I'll need to determine my rows. Since I'm calculating a rolling total since January, I'll insert the number 1 for January. Insert another comma. Next, you have to indicate the column. My column of reference will be year 3, so I'll select that reference located in cell G3 and insert another comma. Next, indicate which month. In this instance it's October, which is the 10th month, so I'll select cell G4, where I have already calculated that value using the match formula. Insert another comma, then indicate the column width. As it's just one column, insert the number 1. Close off the parentheses and press enter to quickly calculate. Now in cell G6, I can see the rolling total within October from the beginning of January. Now, if I need to change the reference, for example if I change year 3 to 2 in cell G3 and then click outside, the values below update without any errors since the formulas use positional references rather than value-based references. As you can see, once you set up these formulas, you can quickly change the values to get the data you need within your table. This has been an overview on using reference positions in conditional formulas in Excel. In Excel 365, conditional formatting lets you apply different rules to analyze your data more clearly. In this video, you'll explore how to use conditional formatting to analyze a data range in Excel. I'd like to quickly get an overview of the data values within column D. For example, if I want to quickly see the highest and lowest values, I can apply a color scale. To do this, I'm first going to select this cell range. Then, with the Home tab selected, go to the Styles group on the right of the ribbon and click the Conditional Formatting drop-down. From the menu, select Color Scales. A side menu appears on the right with various color scale options. You can hover over an option to see a preview of it apply to your selected cells. I'll select this red-white color scale option, and that selected color scale is now applied to the values in the Purchase Total column. For example, now I can see that the highest values are a darker red color, whereas the lowest values don't have any color applied. To clear the conditional formatting that's applied to the selected cell range, in the Styles group, click the Conditional Formatting drop-down again. From the bottom of the menu, select the Clear Rules option. In the side menu on the right are the options to clear rules from the selected cell range, or to clear rules from this entire worksheet. As I only want to remove the rule from the selected range, I'll select that option at the top of the menu. If you're looking for specific values or text in your data, then data bars are perfect for showing the top and bottom values of your data. To apply data bars, I'm going to click the Conditional Formatting drop-down and then hover over the option Data Bars in the menu. The side menu on the right is divided into 3 sections. At the top are various gradient fill color options, and note that when you hover over an option, you can see a preview of it applied to your selected values. Next are solid fill color options, and at the bottom is the option More Rules. I'll select the option More Rules. A new formatting rule dialog box opens. At the top, you can select a rule type. By default, format all cells based on their values is chosen. I'm happy with this, so I won't change it. Below, you can choose which type of format you'd like to apply. In the Format Style drop-down, I'm going to be sure that data bar has been selected. To the right of this, I can choose to only show the bar. I'll leave this option unchecked. Next, you'll see that the minimum and maximum type are set to automatic in order to analyze your data. And below, you can choose the fill. Click the Fill drop-down and you can choose from Solid Fill or Gradient Fill. I'm going to leave it set to Solid Fill. To the right, click the Color drop-down and from the Theme Colors gallery, I'll choose this gold color. Below this, you can set the negative value and axis settings and see a preview of your bar's appearance. At the bottom right, you can also choose to add a border and border color, as well as set the bar direction. To apply my settings, click the OK button at the bottom right. The data bars are now displayed on the left of each selected cell, making the data easier to analyze. You can also apply icon sets to cells. To do this, click the Conditional Formatting drop-down, then hover over the option Icon Sets. The side menu is divided up into 5 sections. At the top is various directional icons you can apply. Again, if you hover over an icon, you'll get a preview of it in your worksheet. Next are shape icons, indicators, ratings, and at the bottom is the option More Rules. To apply an icon to your cell range, you can simply click on it in the menu. As I already have data bars added to my cells, this makes it harder to see any icons which I may want to apply. From the Conditional Formatting drop-down, you can manage your conditional formatting rules by selecting the option Manage Rules at the bottom. A Conditional Formatting Rules Manager dialog box opens. Click the drop-down at the top, and you can choose to show the formatting rules for the current selection or this entire worksheet. As current selection is chosen, listed below is the data bar rule I applied. If I select this, above the list you can create a new rule, edit this rule, delete it, or duplicate it. I'll select Edit Rule, which then opens the Edit Formatting Rule window, where I can modify the bar's appearance. Click the X icon at the top right to close. To delete a rule, select it in the list, then click the Delete Rule button. The data bar rule has been removed. To close this window, click the OK button at the bottom right. This has been an overview on analyzing data ranges with conditional formatting in Excel. Go further with advanced conditional formatting by highlighting specific data criteria. If you need to find duplicate values or if you'd like to hide specific values, conditional formatting provides you with these tools. In this video, you'll explore how to use advanced conditional formatting tools in Excel. To quickly analyze my data and find duplicates, rather than using a formula, you can use conditional formatting. First, I'll select the cell range of my table, excluding the header cells. Then, within the Home tab, go to the Styles group on the right of the ribbon and click the Conditional Formatting drop-down menu. At the top, you'll notice that you have 2 different advanced conditional formatting options, Highlight Cell Rules and Top/Bottom Rules. Hover over Top/Bottom Rules and in the side menu, you can analyze the top 10 items, top 10%, bottom 10 items, bottom 10%, etc. If you're looking to find duplicate values, hover over the option Highlight Cells Rules. In the side menu, you can search for specific values, greater than or less than, between, as well as equal to, etc. At the bottom of the list is the option Duplicate Values, which you can use to find duplicate values. You can also do this by creating a new rule. Click More Rules at the bottom of the list. The new Formatting Rule dialog box opens. To find duplicate values in the Select a Rule Type section at the top, choose the option Format Only Unique or Duplicate Values. Below, in the Format All drop-down, be sure that duplicate is selected. But you can also click the drop-down and search for unique values. To highlight the duplicate values, I can apply specific formatting for them. To do this, click the Format button at the bottom right corner. The Format Cells dialog box opens. From here, you can customize the font, border and fill of the cells. On the right of the Font tab in the Font Style box, I'll apply a bold effect, then switch to the Fill tab, and from the Background Color gallery on the left, I'll select this orange color. To apply this, click the OK button at the bottom right. A preview of the selected formatting now appears at the bottom of the new formatting rule window. To apply the rule, click the OK button at the bottom right. Now, within my data range, all the duplicate values are formatted in bold and highlighted in orange. You can modify a conditional formatting rule by clicking the Conditional Formatting drop-down menu, and at the bottom select Manage Rules. The Conditional Formatting Rules Manager dialog box displays, which by default shows the formatting rules for the current selection. Listed here is the duplicate values rule I've applied. To modify this rule, first select it. Then, for example, if I want to change the cell range the rule is applied to, click the Applies to Arrow button in the right of the rule. Then I can go and select the cell range where I want to search for duplicate values, then click the drop-down arrow on the right of the window. And in the rule window, I can see the selected cell range has changed. To apply these changes, click the Apply button at the bottom right, then click the OK button to leave the rule menu. So now the rule is only applied to column D. You can also choose to hide specific values. Once you've selected your cell range, click the Conditional Formatting drop-down menu again and select Highlight Cell Rules. From the side menu, to hide specific values, choose the Equal to option. On the left of the Equal to dialog box, click inside the field, and I'll type in 390. To hide these 390 values, on the right click the drop-down and choose an option in the formatting list. I'll select the option Custom Format. From the Format Cells dialog box, I'll switch to the Font tab. To hide the values, I'll change the color. On the right click the Color drop-down, and I'll change the font color to white. On the left, in the Effects section, there's a strike-through effect applied. To remove this, uncheck the box to the left of it, then click the OK button to apply the format. So any 390 values will be turned to white text, which will make them invisible in my worksheet. To apply this format, select the OK button at the bottom right of the Equal to window. Now, if I browse through my worksheet, the cells with the value 390 have a white font text applied, so those cells appear blank. I can select a cell with a hidden value and change the value to, for example, 100. And when I select outside, the value is no longer hidden. This has been an overview on using advanced conditional formatting in Excel. If you have multiple conditional formats applied to a worksheet, it's a good idea to know which rule is applied first. You can set the hierarchical order of the conditional formatting rules that have been applied, as well as resolve rule conflicts. In this video, you'll explore how to manage conditional formatting rules in Excel. I have multiple conditional rules applied to the data values in my worksheet. Now, some of these rules will overpower other rules, which will cause conflicts. For example, I created a conditional format rule to hide the zero values. But since multiple rules have been applied thereafter, this rule is no longer visible. To manage the hierarchy of conditional formats, in the Styles group of the Home tab, click the Conditional Formatting drop-down menu. At the bottom, select Manage Rules. The Conditional Formatting Rules Manager dialog box displays. To see all of the rules applied within my worksheet, click the drop-down at the top and select the option This Worksheet. Listed below are now multiple rules I've applied, which are applied in the order shown. For example, my top rule is a formula to highlight rows with values above 400. To stop other rules from being applied on top of this one, check the Stop If True box on the right, then click the Apply button at the bottom right. Now my icon set rule, which is applied after this, is no longer applied to those cells if this formula is true. If I want to remove a rule altogether, I can select the rule and click the Delete Rule button above the list. Note also that you can create a new rule using the New Rule button at the top left or edit an existing rule using the Edit Rule button to the right of that. Now, besides deleting rules, you can also move them in order to change how they're applied. For example, I want to apply my Hide Zero Value rule first. To do this, first select that rule, then using the up arrow button at the top, move the rule until it appears at the top of the list. Note you can also use the down arrow button next to it to move a rule down the list. Now, the zero value rule will take precedence over the other rules below. I see that I have an icon set and graded color scale rule, which are both similar to each other. To avoid any rule conflicts, I can remove one of these rules. I'll select the graded color scale rule, then click the Delete Rule button. When I'm done changing the hierarchy and removing rules, I'll click the Apply button at the bottom right corner, and I can see those changes applied to my cells. Close the Rules window by clicking the OK button at the bottom right. I can now scroll through my worksheet, and I'll see that my hide zero value format has been applied. This has been an overview on managing conditional formatting rules in Excel. If a data range contains stock-related or geographical values, you can use Excel 365 data types to dynamically insert and visualize associated information. This information can be mapped automatically to existing values in a data range, thereby enriching your worksheets and reports. In this video, you'll explore how to use intelligent data types. In my worksheet are two separate tables. The table on the left contains geographical values. To enrich these values, first select this cell range, then switch to the Data tab, and in the center of the ribbon is the Data Types group. Click the drop down here and you'll see that you have 3 different data types that you can apply: organization, stocks, and geography. Since I'm applying this to geographical values, I'll select geography. Now on the left-hand side of my selected values is a map icon. Click on a map icon and a card will display with additional information regarding that geographical value, and I can use the scroll bar on the right to browse through all of the information. To hide the card, select Outside. You can also visualize the card by right-clicking over the value. From the shortcut menu, select the option Show Data Type Card, and the same data card as previously shown once again displays. Besides adding cards to geographical values, you can also add stock information. On the right of my worksheet, I have a table with the list of different stocks. To get information regarding these stocks, first select this data range, then go to the Data Types group, click the drop-down and select the option Stocks. And now I have a stock icon next to each stock in the selected range. To view the card for a specific stock, select the icon located on the left of its cell, and the card relating to that particular stock displays. In the card is the name of the stock, the price, and if I scroll down, there's additional information regarding this particular stock. Now you can also extract additional information that you can then insert into your worksheet. For example, to get the name of the Apple Inc. stock, select the cell where the stock is and in the top right-hand corner of the cell, an Insert Data button appears. Click this and a field menu appears with the list of data options such as currency, description, industry, etc. I'll scroll down this list and select the option name, and the name of this stock has been inserted into the cell to the right of the stock. I can autofill the rest of the values for the companies by going down to the bottom right corner of cell G3. Once I see the autofill black plus icon, I'll double-click my mouse. And the name column is now filled with the names of their respective stocks. You can do the same for geographical values. I'd like to have the state capital for the Alaska value, so I'll select that value in the table on the left and then click the Insert Data button. In the menu, you'll see additional information regarding your geographical values, such as image, largest city or leaders, etc. I'll select the option Capital at the top, and the capital for Alaska now appears in the cell to the right of it. To autofill the rest of this column, select cell C3 and double-click at the bottom right, and the capital city for each respective state now appears in column C. Now, to remove your data types, first you're going to need to select the cell range. Right-click over your values, from the shortcut menu hover over the option Data Type, and in the side menu select the option Convert to Text. The map icon in those cells has now disappeared, and the values in column C associated with those data types now displays an error message instead, indicating that the value can no longer be found. If you find that you'd like to undo that particular action, you can use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+Z, or you can select that cell range, right-click over it, and from the shortcut menu select the option Clear Contents. If you have data that is continually updating, such as stocks, you may need to refresh the data. To do this, first select the data range, right-click over it, from the shortcut menu hover over Data Type, and in the side menu select Refresh. This is important if you're going to keep your stock values up to date. This has been an overview on using intelligent data types in Excel. We generally use a base 10 decimal system in everyday life, but you may occasionally find it useful to work in binary and hexadecimal. In this video, you'll explore how to convert numbers with bin and hex in Excel. In my worksheet is 3 different tables containing values that I'd like to convert. For example, the table on the left contains binary values. If I'd like to convert these values into decimal values, I'll first need to select cell C6, then insert an equal sign followed by bin and the numerical value 2. In the suggestion list that displays is the formula option bin2dec, which converts a binary number to a decimal. So I'll select that, and this then inserts an open parenthesis. Now all I need to do is to select my value in cell B6, close off the parentheses and press the Enter key to quickly convert that value. The number 1 now displays in cell C6. To apply this formula to the rest of the column cells, select cell C6, go to the bottom right of it and double-click when the autofill black plus icon appears. In the middle table, I want to convert my values from hexadecimal to decimal. I can do this using the HEX2DEC formula. To perform this formula, I'm first going to select cell F6, insert an equal sign followed by HEX, the number 2, then DEC, and an open parenthesis. Next, I can select the hexadecimal value I'd like to convert, which is in cell E6. Close off the parentheses and press the Enter key to quickly convert that value. The formula results 69 now displays in cell F6. Again, if you wish, you can apply the formula to the rest of this column cells using the autofill feature. Another way you can convert your values is from decimal to binary. In the table on the far right is a decimal and binary column. To convert the numerical value in cell H6 into a binary 1, first I'll select cell I6, insert an equal sign followed by DEC, the number 2, then bin and an open parenthesis. Then I can select my decimal value in cell H6, close off the parentheses and press Enter to quickly convert that value. The formula has calculated the result 1000 and displays it in cell I6. Now, if I go down to the bottom right corner of the selected cell and double-click the autofill black plus icon, the formula is then applied to the rest of the cells in this column. Now you can see these formulas are quite useful if you need to quickly perform and convert multiple values at the same time. This has been an overview on converting number types with bin and HEX in Excel. In Excel, you can quickly apply formulas to multiple data entries with fill down. In this video, you'll explore how to use fill down to automate formulas in Excel. In my worksheet is a table with supplier financial data for various items. To add these values to get a total, I can use a formula. First, I'm going to select cell G9 in the total column, insert an equal sign followed by the sum formula and an open parenthesis. Next, I'll select the data range with the values I'd like to add. So I'm going to go towards the left-hand side, hold down my mouse and select the cell range C9 to F9. I'll then close off the parentheses and press Enter on my keyboard. The total amount for the resulting sum is now displayed in cell G9. Now I want to calculate the totals for the rest of the table values. One way you can do this is to copy the formula in cell G9 and then paste it into the cells below. But a quicker way to copy your formulas is to use the fill down function. To use fill down, I'll select cell G9, go down to the bottom right corner of this cell, and where my mouse cursor changes to a black plus symbol, you can double-click your mouse or click and then drag your mouse down over the cells you'd like to fill. When you release the mouse click, those column cells have been automatically filled with the sum formula, and now display the total sum for the values in their corresponding cells. Note that you can also use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+D to fill the formula down in a column. You can also use the fill down feature to automate formulas across rows. For example, across the bottom of my table is an average row where I'd like to insert the average for the column values above. First, I'll select cell C13, insert an equal sign followed by average and an open parenthesis. Then I can select the cell range I'd like to calculate cell C9 to C12, close off the parenthesis and press the Enter key to calculate, and the supplier cost average for the shorter column now displays in cell C13. Now, in order to fill the row cells to the right with the average formula, I'm first going to select cell D13 and then use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+R. Cell D13 has now been automatically filled with the average formula and displays the average value for the cells above. Or again, I can quickly fill the rest of the row cells with the formula by going to the bottom right of cell D13, and when my cursor changes to a black plus icon, click and drag your mouse across the cells. Once I release the mouse click, the average value for each column cell has been automatically calculated in row 13. The advantage of using the fill down feature is that it saves a lot of time if you want to use the same formula across your worksheet. It'll also save you time if you change any particular value. For example, if I click in cell E11 and change the value from $50 to $100, then click outside of the cell, the new value has been automatically taken into account in the total formula in cell J11 and the average formula in cell E13, and they've both updated their totals accordingly. This has been an overview on using fill down to automate formulas in Excel. Excel 365 has specific formulas you can use depending on which value you'd like to find. You can use a min and max to find the minimum and maximum values. The function average is used to find the average value in a range. And if you need to consult which cells have formulas in your sheet, you can quickly display formulas in Excel 365. I'd like to find the minimum supplier cost for each of the items in my table. There are multiple ways to find a minimum value in a range. One way is to use the min formula. I'll select cell F7, insert an equal sign followed by min and an open parenthesis. Then I can select the cell range above, cell F3 to F6, close off the parentheses and press the Enter key to display the minimum value in the selected range. I'll select cell G7. Another way to find the minimum value is to switch to the Formulas tab, and on the left of the Tools ribbon in the Function library, click the AutoSum drop-down. From this menu, you can insert the sum, average, count numbers, max and min functions into the selected cell, so I'll select the option min. The and min formula has been automatically inserted into cell G7, and Excel has automatically detected the cell range G3 to G6, where I'd like to find the minimum value, and inserted it into the formula. To calculate, press the Enter key. The minimum value for the selected range now displays. The process to find the maximum value in a range is similar to the one just shown. First, I'll select cell F8. You can again click the AutoSum drop-down and select the option Max from the menu to automatically insert the maximum formula. I'll click away to close this. Or into the cell insert an equal sign followed by Max and an open parenthesis. Select the cell range F3 to F6, close off the parentheses and press the Enter key to calculate. And the maximum value now displays in cell F8. Next, I'd like to calculate the average value between the maximum and minimum values. To do this, I'll use the average formula. First, I'll select cell F9. Note that you can automatically insert the average formula from the AutoSum drop-down menu, or you can insert an equal sign followed by average and an open parenthesis. Then I'll select the cell range F7 to 8, where the min and max values are located. Close off the parentheses and press the Enter key to calculate, and the average between those two values now displays in cell F9. Your worksheet may contain numerous formulas. If you need to review multiple formulas you've used, it's easier to do this if you first display them. One way to display a formula is to click on the cell that contains the formula. For example, I'll click on cell F9, and in the formula bar above the worksheet, the formula in that cell displays here. But note that the resulting value from that formula is the only thing visible in cell F9 in the worksheet. If you want to view all of the formulas you've used within your worksheet, switch to the Formulas tab. And on the right of the ribbon in the Formula Auditing group, click the Show Formulas button. My worksheet zooms in, and displayed in the cells is now the formulas I've used. Note you can also use the keyboard shortcut Control and the apostrophe key to activate the Show Formulas feature. To hide the formulas and display the formula results instead, click the Show Formulas button again. This has been an overview on finding minimum, maximum, and average values in Excel. In Excel 365, you can, for instance, easily find the fourth largest or second smallest value in a dataset. In this video, you'll explore how to find the largest or smallest value in a list in Excel 365. In my worksheet, I have a table of products on the right, and in the table on the left, I want to find certain values. In Excel, you can use the large and small formulas to find a chosen rank in a data range. For example, I want to find the fifth largest quantity from the quantity list in the table on the right. To do this, I'll first select cell C2, insert an equal sign followed by large and an open parenthesis. Next, I need to select the data range, which is the quantity column, so I'll select cells G3 to G8, then insert a comma to move on to the next argument where next I need to choose K. K is the rank in the cell range that I'd like to find. I have 6 products where 1 equates to the largest, 2 the second largest, and so on. So as I want to find the fifth largest, I'll insert the number 5, close off the parentheses, and then press Enter. Cell C2 now displays the result 8, meaning that the fifth largest value in the quantity list is 8. The small formula works in the same way, except that it will find a chosen smallest value in a dataset. I'd like to find the third smallest value in the quantity list, so I'll select cell C3, insert an equal sign followed by small and an open parenthesis. Next, select the quantity list cell range G3 to G8, insert a comma and then choose K, which is the position from smallest in the cell range you want to find. As I want to find the third smallest value, I'll type in the number 3, close off the parentheses and press the Enter key. The cell now displays the value 10, meaning 10 is the third smallest value in the quantity list. As you can see, the large and small formulas are quite useful if you want to quickly find a value based on its standing within a large data range. This has been an overview on finding the largest and smallest values in a list in Excel. Excel 365 features date functions that can be used to return precise information relating to a particular month, day, or year. In this video, you'll discover how to retrieve information with dates in Excel 365. In my worksheet is a table of orders and order dates. I'm going to use this list to extract date values such as the day, month, and year of a given sale. To find the day of a date, first I'll select cell D3, insert an equal sign, followed by day and an open parenthesis. Then select the date value in cell C3, close off the parentheses and press Enter. As you can see, the resulting day value the 7th corresponds to the date value in column C. You can find the month of a date using the same process. I'll select cell E3, insert an equal sign followed by month and an open parenthesis, then select the date value in cell C3, close off the parentheses and press Enter. The month value 2, which is February, corresponds to my date value. And you can find the year in the same way. Select cell F3, insert an equals followed by year and an open parenthesis. Select the date value, close off the parentheses and press Enter, and the formula result is the year 2020. In Excel, you can be even more specific and find information like weekday values. Select cell G3, insert an equals followed by weekday and an open parenthesis. Then select the date value and insert a comma to move on to the next argument. When you insert the comma, a pop-up list will display below the formula bar with the list of return type argument options. Weekdays are displayed numerically with this formula, so I need to specify how I want to order them. For example, at the top of the list, I can use numbers 1 through 7, where 1 represents Sunday and 7 Saturday, or 1 through 7 where 1 represents Monday and 7 Sunday, and so on. I want 1 to represent Monday, so I'll double-click on option 2 in the list. Close the parentheses and press Enter. The number 5 displays, which means that I now know the order was placed on a Friday. You can use days formulas to perform more complex calculations, such as days elapsed between orders. Select cell H3, insert an equals followed by days 360 and an open parenthesis. This formula uses a start and end date to calculate the days in between. So select the start date, insert a comma and select the end date, which is cell C4. Insert another comma, and this then displays a pop-up list of method options. False is a US method of date keeping and true is the European way. I'll select the European option, close the parentheses and press Enter. I now know that 41 days elapsed between our first 2 orders. You can calculate workdays elapsed between orders using the network days formula. Select cell I3, insert an equals, network days and an open parentheses. Next select the start date value, insert a comma, then select the end date value cell C4. Insert a comma and next you have the option to include holiday dates to exclude from the working calendar. For example, the date in cell C3 was a holiday, so I'll select that cell again, close off the parentheses and press Enter. So there was 28 working days elapsed between our first 2 orders. The workday formula calculates a date that is the indicated number of working days before and after a date, which is useful if you're forecasting delivery dates. For example, to find the target delivery date for each order, which is 3 days into the future, select cell G3, insert an equals workday and an open parenthesis. Next, select the start date, insert a comma, then specify the number of working days. So I'll insert 3, which is the target delivery date. Here again, you have the option to include holidays if you wish. Close the parentheses and press Enter, and that's calculated the target delivery date for the first order. I can perform the same calculation, but include weekends, insert an equals, followed by workday.intl and an open parenthesis. Select the start date, insert a comma, then specify the number of days, which is 3, insert another comma, and a list of weekend argument options displays. I'll select the first option to set Saturday and Sunday as the weekend. Close the parenthesis and press Enter. The target delivery date now displays, but weekends are also being accounted for. This has been an overview on retrieving information with dates in Excel. In Excel 365, you can automatically find a date based on a fixed date, such as the last date of the previous month. In this video, you'll explore how to retrieve a date automatically in Excel 365. In my worksheet is a list of different specific days and dates I want to find. To do this, I'll use different automatic formulas. The today function returns the current date. The today function is useful when you need to have the current date displayed in a worksheet, regardless of when you open that workbook. So to find today's date, I'll select cell B2, insert an equal sign followed by today and an open parenthesis, then close the parenthesis and press the Enter key. And as easily as that, I've added today's date automatically into my worksheet. I can be even more specific and include the current date and time using the Now formula. The Now function is useful when you need to display the current date and time or calculate a value based on the current date and time. I'll select cell B3, insert an equal sign followed by Now and an open parenthesis, close off the parentheses and press Enter. Note that this value will be updated each time I open this worksheet. Let's move on to slightly more complex calculations by working with month ends. The EA-month formula is used to find the last day of a given month, whether it be the previous, current or future month. First, I'll find the last day of last month. Into cell B4, insert an equal sign followed by EA-month and an open parenthesis. Next, I need to choose the start date, so I'll select today's date, which I previously inserted into cell B2. Then insert a comma to move on to the next argument where I need to define the month. This is the number of months before or after the chosen start date. A positive value will give a future date, and a negative value yields a past date. Because I want to note the last day of last month, I'll type in the text -1, close off the parentheses and press Enter, and Excel has correctly found the last day of last month. Lastly, let's look at returning dates in past or future months. The EDate formula is used to find the date that's the indicated number of months before or after a specified date. Into cell B5, insert an equal sign followed by EDate and an open parenthesis. Next, choose the start date, so I'll select today's date in cell B2, then insert a comma. Next, I need to define the months. As I want to find today's date for next month, I'll type in the number 1, close off the parentheses and press the Enter key. And today's date for next month now displays in the cell. Knowing how to perform calculations based on a fixed date can be very useful, especially when working with future dates. This has been an overview on retrieving a date value automatically in Excel. In Excel 365, you can quickly retrieve data and fill out your data tables. In this video, you'll explore how to insert data automatically with formulas in Excel. In my Purchases worksheet, I have a reference table containing a list of customer names and their purchases. On the far left, the customer ID column is empty. If I click the ID worksheet at the bottom left, here is a table with customer names and their corresponding ID numbers. I can use the VLOOKUP formula to find and return the corresponding customer IDs and place them in the Purchases worksheet table. Before we start, it's important to note that if you're performing an approximate match, the data should be sorted and referenced according to the reference value. However, if you're performing an exact match, the data doesn't need to be sorted. I'll switch back to the Purchases worksheet tab and click inside cell A2 of the customer ID column. Begin by inserting an equal sign, followed by VLOOKUP and an open parenthesis. Next, I have to select the lookup value, which is cell B2 from the customer name column, then insert a comma. Next, I have to select the array, which is located in the second worksheet. I'll click the ID worksheet tab and I need both the customer name and ID, so I'll select both those columns from the table. As I plan on filling out my table, I need to change the table array cell references to absolute values. To do this, go to the formula bar above the worksheet, and I'll click between the column A row 2 reference and insert a dollar symbol, then click between B and 20 and insert another dollar symbol. Then I'll place my cursor at the end of the formula and insert another comma. Next, specify the column index number. This will be the column that I want to pull data from and place in my table. As I'm looking for customer IDs, which is the second column, I'll type in the number 2. Insert another comma. When you do this, a pop-up list of arguments displays with the options true approximate match or false exact match. I want exact matches, so I'll select the option false. Close off the parentheses and press the Enter key. I'm then navigated back to the Purchases worksheet, and in cell A2 is now the customer ID number associated with the name in cell B2. If you don't have a separate data source, you can use VLOOKUP in a single formula using an array constant. But this requires you to build a full reference table within a single formula. Into cell A3, I'll insert the VLOOKUP formula. Next, select the lookup value, which is cell B3. Insert another comma. Next, I must define the table array. To build an array in a formula, you have to use curly brackets. It may help you to visualize anything within these curly brackets, like cells in a table, and the text in each cell needs to be within quotation marks. Our first item is Robert Thompson, so type that in between quotation marks. To create a horizontal split or jump to the next column, insert a comma. Next, I need to insert the customer ID, which is CUST_10 in quotation marks. To create a new rule, we separate items with a semicolon. The next name is Sandy Davis. Insert a comma and then CUST_11. And again, I'm creating a new rule by inserting a semicolon. And let's insert one more name, Julia Wrighton, with the ID CUST_12. Once finished, remember to close the curly brackets. Before we continue, let's imagine what this array would look like as a table. I have 6 items split into 2 columns. The first column is for customer names, while the second column is for customer IDs. Horizontal splits are marked by quotation marks, while new rows are marked with semicolons. Insert another comma. And next, I need to specify the column index number, which is 2 because we're inserting IDs. Insert another comma and lastly, from the pop-up list, select the option false. Close off the parentheses and press enter. As you can see, the formula has worked successfully and has filled in the customer ID for Robert Thompson. I can then fill out the rest of the IDs as far as the table array allows. Go to the bottom right of cell A3 and click and drag the autofill feature over the cells. The formula has been successfully applied for the Sandy and Julia cells, but note that there is an error message for the William cell. This is because it wasn't included in the table array in my formula. This has been an overview on inserting data automatically with formulas in Excel. In Excel 365, you can search for a value in 2 separate data tables using the if and VLOOKUP functions. In this video, you'll explore how to perform a lookup across 2 tables in Excel 365. At the top of my worksheet is 2 data tables for the supplier's home service and Zebra Sky, and just below this is a summary table. I want to find the supplier price per unit based on the item code and then the supplier. I can use the VLOOKUP formula to search for item codes. However, because the suppliers vary, I need to use an if variable in the formula. It's important to note before continuing that the supplier tables have been named. If I click the name box at the top left, in the drop-down list is the 2 supplier names. This will make reference in them in formulas much easier. And if I, for example, select home service from the list, I can see that table range at the top left is now selected, and that this range doesn't include headers. Also note that in the supplier tables, the item codes have been sorted alphabetically. Now let's look at using the VLOOKUP formula. I'm using VLOOKUP as my data list is vertical. First I'll select cell E10, insert an equal sign followed by VLOOKUP and an open parenthesis. The first argument I need to insert is the lookup value, which in this case is the item code in cell D10. Insert a comma to move on to the next argument. Next, I need to insert the if variable because of the variant suppliers, so I'll type in if followed by an open parenthesis. Within an if formula, there are 3 arguments, logical_test, value_if_true and value_if_false. The logical test will be for the supplier, so select cell B10. Next, I need to insert a conditional. Insert an equal sign followed by the text Zebra Sky within quotation marks and then insert a comma. So if cell B10 has the value Zebra Sky in it, I want to consult the Zebra Sky table. Begin typing in Zebra Sky, and as I previously named that table, a pop-up list with the option Zebra Sky appears, so I'll select that. Insert another comma to move on to the next argument. Naturally, then the value if false will be the home service table, so begin typing in home service, and again because this table was previously named, it now appears in a pop-up list, so I'll select that. Close off this parenthesis and insert a comma to return to the original formula, where I now need to specify the column index number. Because I'm finding the supplier price, which is the second column in both tables, I'll insert the number 2. Insert a comma to move on to the next argument where a pop-up list displays with the options true approximate match or false exact match. I'm looking for an exact match, so I'll select the option false. Close off the parentheses. Let's quickly recap. I'm first looking for the item code in cell D10, and next the formula will check which supplier it's for. So if zebra sky is in cell B10, the formula will consult the zebra sky table. If not, it'll consult the home service table. Then within these tables, the formula will pull data from the second column, which is the supplier price. Press the Enter key to perform the calculation. $157.43 now displays in cell E10. And if I go to the zebra sky table to the supplier price for the item code P2QC, I can see that the calculated price corresponds with the one displayed here. I'll select cell E10 and click and drag the autofill handle to fill out the rest of this column cells with the formula. And if I check the home service item X857 in cell E11, with that supplier price item code in the home service table, I can see that both those prices also match. This has been an overview on performing a lookup across two tables in Excel. With Excel 365, you can easily find values located on a separate worksheet. In this video, you'll discover how to find a value in a double entry table in Excel. In my workbook, I have two separate worksheets. Within my summary worksheet, I'm going to be looking up and matching specific information found in my supplier orders worksheet. I'll click on the suppliers worksheet tab at the bottom left. Now, if you've a worksheet with a lot of data values, rather than going through and looking for the values manually, you can use specific formulas to help you find the information more quickly. For example, in my table, I'm looking for a specific order reference number regarding a date found in the date column. Now to do this, I'll use the XLOOKUP formula. The XLOOKUP function searches a range or an array and then returns the item corresponding to the first match it finds. If no match exists, then XLOOKUP can return the closest approximate match. First, click the Summary Worksheet tab, and from here select cell C4. Insert an equal sign followed by XLOOKUP and an open parenthesis. Next, I need to select the lookup value, which is the date value in cell C2. Then insert a comma. Next, I need to define the lookup array, which is the range of cells I'm searching in, so I'll navigate to the Supplier Orders worksheet and then select the date column cell range. Insert a comma. Next, I need to define the return array, which is the range of cells from where you want a value returned. As I want to find the order reference number, I'll select the order reference cell range. Note that you've also the option in the formula to type in a text you want displayed if a valid match is not found. You have match mode where you can specify the match type, such as exact or wildcard, and search mode where you can specify the search mode to use. Close off the parenthesis and press the Enter key, and the formula has found the order reference number. You can also use other formulas to find a row reference, as well as a column reference. For example, the XMatch formula searches for a specified item in an array or range of cells, and then returns the item's relative position. I'm looking for the row reference for the date value in cell C2, so I'll select cell C3, insert an equal sign followed by XMatch and an open parenthesis. Next, I need to select the lookup value, which is the date value in cell C2. Insert a comma, then select the lookup array, so switch to the Supplier Orders worksheet and select the date column cell range. Again, you have the option to define the match mode and search mode if you wish. I can then close off the parentheses and press Enter, and the corresponding row reference displays in cell C3 of the summary worksheet. Lastly, if you're looking for the coordinates and the value found within that coordinate, you can use the index formula. In my summary sheet, I have the coordinates for the row reference and column reference, and I can use these with the index formula to find the quantity value located in my sheet. So I'll select cell C8, insert an equal sign followed by index and an open parenthesis. Next, I need to select my array, which is the range of cells I'm searching in. So switch to the Supplier Orders worksheet, and I'll select all of the values in this table, including the headers. Insert a comma and then define the row number. So I'll switch back to the summary worksheet and select the row reference in cell C3. Insert another comma and then define the column number, so I'll select the column reference in cell C7. I can then close off the parentheses and press Enter to find that search result. Now I can see that the value in the coordinates row 2 column 5 is 14. If I switch to the Supplier Orders worksheet, displayed in row 2 column 5 is indeed the value 14. This has been an overview on finding a value in a double entry table in Excel. You can easily cross-reference the contents of two lists in Excel 365. In this video, you'll explore how to cross-reference data with formulas. You can use the VLOOKUP formula to cross-reference the contents of two lists. This is useful when checking for missing values in your lists. If the value is found, it is returned. If it's not found, an error is returned. So to compare the two code lists in my worksheet, I'll select cell D2, insert an equal sign followed by VLOOKUP and an open parenthesis. First, I have to select the lookup value cell reference, which is cell C2, then insert a comma. Next, I need to add the lookup range. I want to look for the C2 cell code within the list on the left, so I'll select this list cell range. Insert another comma. Next, I need to define the column index number, so I'll insert the number 1 for column 1 and insert another comma. When you do this, a pop-up list displays with the options true approximate match or false exact match. I'll double-click on the option false. It's also important to note that if you want your lookup reference range to use absolute references, which is useful if you're using filters or automating formulas elsewhere, you need to add a $sign to the lookup range. So I'll place my cursor in between the A and the 2 and type in a $sign, and then do the same between A and 21. Then I'll place my cursor at the end of the formula, close off the parentheses, and press the Enter key, and the cell C2 lookup code now shows in cell D2. So now I'm going to fill downwards by selecting cell D2, go to the bottom right and double-click my mouse. So here in the lookup results column, the results have been returned. But I see that there are 3 errors where no result has been found for the lookup value in the code list column. I'll click on this error in cell D5, and I'll click on the error indicator button that appears to the left of it. A menu opens, and at the top it states value not available error, so the value has not been found in the lookup range. Click away to close this. You can cross-reference data with HLOOKUP. HLOOKUP searches for a value in the top row of a table and then returns a value in the same column from a row you specify. I'll click on the Order Worksheet tab at the bottom left. So HLOOKUP works in the same way as VLOOKUP, but horizontally. So I'll select cell C6, insert an equals followed by HLOOKUP and an open parenthesis. Into this column, I want to add the discount at checkout that corresponds with the order values in column B. First, I need to select the lookup value cell reference, which is going to be the order value in cell B6. Insert a comma. Next, add the table array. This is going to be a vertical range, so I'll select the table range F1 to K2. Again, I want to use absolute references, so I'm going to add a $sign in between the letters and numbers in the formula bar, then place the cursor at the end of the formula and insert a comma. Next is the row index number, which is going to be 2, and then add a comma. The pop-up list with the option approximate or exact matches displays. I'm going to double-click on the option false, close off the parentheses and press the Enter key. So now I know that a 5% discount is added to $5 order values. I'll then double-click the autofill handle to fill out the rest of this column cells. You can use the XLOOKUP formula to find data in a table or range in one list by using a search term from another list. This is especially useful for finding data in a table by using a search term from another data range. In cell G7, I'm going to find out what the checkout total is for the order CMD009. Insert an equal sign followed by XLOOKUP and an open parenthesis. Next, select the lookup value, which is the order number in cell F7, add a comma and select the lookup array, which is the list of orders in column A. Add another comma. Now select the return array, which is the total at checkout data range. Close the parentheses and press Enter. Now displayed is the checkout total for the order CMD009. And if I go to cell D14, I can see that value corresponds with the one in the table. This has been an overview on cross-referencing data with formulas in Excel. In Excel 365, you can chain together calculations using multiple data ranges and produce a summary of data table. In this video, you'll learn how to create automatic reports in Excel. The sum product formula returns the sum of the products of corresponding ranges or arrays. The default operation is multiplication, but addition, subtraction, and division are also possible. This is very useful if you need to use data that has already been added to a workbook and you don't want to break up complex data tables. Before we begin, it's important to note that all arrays used in a sum product formula must be the same dimensions. If not, that calculation will produce an error. I'm going to use sum product to calculate the grand total based on the values in the items and price columns. Because the price list displays the cost of a single item, I can simply perform a sum calculation on the list of prices. Each price must be multiplied by the quantity of items. This is where sum product is useful. Into cell H2, insert an equal sign followed by sum product and an open parenthesis. Then select the first array, which is the items column cell range, and then insert a comma. For the second array, I'll select the price column cell range. As mentioned earlier, the default operation of this formula is multiplication. So in my formula, the values in the items column will be multiplied with the values in the price column. Close the parentheses and press enter to perform the calculation. As you can see, I've successfully used the sum product formula to find the grand total for all items. To perform other arithmetic operations besides multiplication, use the sum product formula as usual, but replace the comma separating the array arguments with the arithmetic operators you want, whether that be a plus, minus, or slash symbol. After all the operations are performed, the results are summed as usual. You can also use the sum product function with nested formulas and defined values. For example, I want to find the total expenditure for each customer listed in column E. Into cell F2, insert an equal sign followed by sum product and an open parenthesis. In the first nested formula, I wanted to find the customer name, so I'll insert another open parenthesis and then select the customer list cell range. And then I'll define the first customer cell by inserting an equal sign and selecting cell E2, then close the parentheses. I then want to multiply this by the items. Insert an asterisk symbol for multiplication, then an open parenthesis, and select the items column cell range, then close the parentheses. Next, I want to multiply this by the price values, so insert an asterisk symbol, an open parenthesis, and then select the price column cell range. Then insert two close parentheses in order to close the selected array, and then the formula. As I'll be using the fill down command with this formula, I'm going to convert the cell references to mixed cell references. To do this, I'll insert a dollar symbol before each row number in the formula, thus locking the row reference. Once I've done this, I can press the Enter key to perform the calculation, and the total price for the items Rashid purchased now displays in cell F2. I can now select cell F2 and double-click the autofill feature to complete my customer totals list. This has been an overview on creating automatic reports in Excel. To use the contents of a particular cell or cell range to manipulate data in Excel, you must know how to reference them. In this video, you'll learn how to reference cells in Excel 365. In my worksheet is two tables representing the expenditure for the London and Paris sites. I want to reference cells from these tables and place them in the list below. A referencing cell is using cell coordinates to extract a specified cell value. The first item to reference is the tablet expenditure in the Paris site. First, select cell D9, insert an equal sign, then select the cell to be referenced, which for me is cell I3. If you know the cell coordinates, you can also type them in manually. To perform the action and reference the cell, press Enter. And as simple as that, we've successfully referenced a cell. This is useful because if the value of a cell changes, then any other cells referencing that cell will update accordingly. The next item to reference is the R&D costs for the flat screen TVs from both tables. It's essentially the same process to reference multiple cells. When you create a simple formula or a formula that uses a function, you can refer to data in worksheet cells by including cell references in the formula arguments. First select the cell, insert an equal sign, then I'll select the first cell D5 from the table on the left. And because I'm performing addition, insert a plus sign, then select cell J5 from the Paris site table. Press the Enter key to perform the calculation, and I've successfully referenced multiple cells. The next item on my list is Varia expenditure in the Paris table. You can reference a range of cells using the sum formula. The sum formula will add all the numbers in a range of cells. Select the cell and insert an equal sign, then type in sum and an open parenthesis. With the formula inserted, I can then click and drag over the range of cells I want to calculate, H6 to J6. After they've been selected, close the parentheses and press Enter. You can also reference multiple non-contiguous ranges. The next item is the R&D costs from both tables. Following similar steps as previously shown, I can calculate the full range. Select the cell, insert an equal sign followed by sum and an open parenthesis. As I'm referencing non-contiguous cells, I need to insert an additional open parenthesis for the ranges. Then I'll click and drag over the range of cells B5 to D5, then close the parentheses. To then separate the ranges, insert a comma, then an open parenthesis. Select the second range H5 to J5, insert two close parentheses to close both the range reference and the formula. Press Enter to perform the calculation. You can even reference entire columns or rows. The final item in my list to reference is column H, so select the cell, insert an equal sign followed by sum and an open parenthesis. Next, to select the entire column you can either type in the coordinates manually or double-click the column letters. I'll do it manually by typing in H, a colon symbol, then the letter H again. As you can see, all of column H is now selected. Close off the parentheses and press Enter to perform the calculation. So now, any additional items that may be added to column H will be included in the referencing cell. Referencing rows works in essentially the same way, but rather than using column letters, use the row numbers found on the left of the sheet. This has been an overview on referencing your cells in Excel. In Excel 365, you can refer to data contained in completely different workbooks. In this video, you'll explore how to reference data across worksheets in Excel 365. My workbook has two worksheets. In the summary worksheet, I want to reference information found in the London worksheet. The first item I'll be referencing is salaries. Select cell C4. As I'll be adding a range of cells, insert an equal sign followed by sum and an open parenthesis. As I'll be referencing from the London worksheet, I'll click that worksheet tab at the bottom left. Note that the London worksheet has now been referenced in my formula in the formula bar. The exclamation mark indicates that this is a worksheet name. Note that if your worksheet is named using non-alphabetic characters, it'll need to be enclosed by single quotation marks in the formula bar. Next, select the salary cell range by clicking and dragging over cell C5 to F5. Close off the parentheses and press Enter to perform the calculation. Once complete, you'll be automatically returned to the original worksheet. As you can see, we've successfully referenced data from a separate worksheet. Now, let's look at referencing data from a separate workbook. I want to calculate the salaries totals from two worksheets in a different workbook, and then reference the data here. First, select cell C6 and insert an equal sign. As I'll be adding data, I'll type in the sum formula and an open parenthesis, then insert a second open bracket as I'll be adding separate ranges. Next, I need to open the second workbook from where I'll be pulling data from. To do this, I'll hover over the Excel up icon in the taskbar, then click the Paris-Berlin workbook window. From the Berlin worksheet, I need to select the salaries row, which is cell C4 to F4. Now let's look at the formula bar. Within the sum formula, the file name Paris-Berlin is within square brackets. Beside this is the worksheet name Berlin. Note the single quotation marks surrounding the location. As stated earlier, these appear here because the file name contains non-alphabetic characters. I can then close off this parenthesis and insert a comma to separate the cell ranges in the formula. Then insert a new open parenthesis and switch worksheets by clicking the Paris worksheet tab at the bottom left. Again, note the file name and the worksheet name Paris has been inserted into the formula. Select the cell range C4 to F4 in this worksheet. Remember to insert two close parentheses, one to close the cell range reference and the other to close the formula. Then press Enter to perform the calculation. Again, I've been returned to the original London document, where you can see that the calculation has been performed successfully. If I hover over the Excel up icon in the taskbar and close the Paris-Berlin workbook, in the formula bar the file hard drive location is now included in the formula. It's important to note that if a workbook you're pulling data from is lost, then the formula may not function correctly, thus corrupting the results. When working with data across multiple workbooks, it's a good idea to save any results as standalone values, due to the heightened risk of losing or misplacing files. To do this, select the cell and copy it using the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+C, then select another cell to the side. To only paste the copied value in this and not the copied formula, right-click on the cell, in the shortcut menu hover over Paste Special, and in the side menu select Paste Values. To then format this value to be a currency, click the currency drop-down in the number toolset, and from the menu select English, United States. So the figures displayed are now the same. A pasted cell is just a value. It won't be affected if the source files are lost or moved. This is a good habit to get into when referencing data across different workbooks. This has been an overview on referencing data across worksheets in Excel. Moving or automating a formula in Excel 365 automatically adjusts the cell references it contains, but you can maintain the original cell reference. In this video, you'll explore how to choose between absolute and relative references in Excel. When using the fill function or copying formulas elsewhere, it's important to know when to use absolute, relative, or mixed cell references. Firstly, let's look at relative cell references, which is the default reference format used in Excel. A cell reference is a relative reference, which means that the reference is relative to the location of the cell. Let's start by calculating the sum of the supplier 1 items, plus the additional cost in cell B3. First select cell F3, insert an equal sign followed by sum and an open parenthesis. Then select the additional cost cell B3, insert a comma, then select the cell range C3 to E3. Close off the parentheses and press the Enter key. As you can see, the total value of the items and the additional cost for supplier 1 has been calculated. Because this is a relative cell reference, you can extend it either up or down using the fill command. And the referencing cells will update accordingly. Hover over the bottom right of cell F3. When your cursor changes to a black plus symbol, click and drag over the cells you want to fill. If I select cell F4, I can see in the formula bar that the new values correspond to the relative position of the reference cell. So here, instead of B3, cell B4 is referenced instead. Relative cell references are useful if you want to perform calculations on different data values each time, rather than continually referencing the same individual cell. When you do want to reference the same individual cell from a static location, you should use absolute cell references. For example, as I used relative cell references in the sum formula, the additional costs cell B3 was not referenced in the other column cells, as the reference updated based on each new cell location. To make an absolute cell reference, all you need to do is insert a dollar symbol before the column and row reference of a cell. To demonstrate this, I'll double-click on cell F3 to display the formula within this cell, place my cursor before the cell reference B3 and insert a dollar symbol, then place it in between the cell reference and insert another dollar symbol, then press the Enter key, and this cell reference is now absolute. So if I, for example, fill the rest of this column cells with the updated formula using the fill down feature, note that the values in the cells change. If I view the formula in each of these cells, I can see that the additional cost value cell is now referenced in all of them, so that value is added to the total cost. I want to calculate the full total, including the tax value for supplier 1. To do this, I need to combine absolute and relative references. This is known as a mixed cell reference. To do this, I'll select cell G3, insert an equal sign followed by the sum formula and two open parentheses, as I'll be referencing two cell ranges. Then I'll select cell F3, containing the total and additional cost value. Close off the parentheses and then insert a comma. Next, I want to reference the tax cell, so select cell B9. But I need to ensure that when I use the fill down command, Excel will only pull information from this specific cell. To create a mixed cell reference, simply insert a dollar sign before either of the cell coordinates. Because I'll be filling down, I only need to place a dollar sign before the row reference 9. So now, when I fill down, Excel will only pull information from the specific cell B9. Then close off the parentheses and press Enter to perform the calculation. I can then apply this to the cells below using the fill command, select cell G3, go to the bottom right, and then drag the black plus symbol over the cells. And if I select one of the newly created cells to view the formula, I can see that the relative reference has updated accordingly, while the mixed reference has remained the same. That's why it says F5 here, but B9 remains consistent. Note that if I'd used the fill tool horizontally, the tax cell reference wouldn't have been static. To do this, you'd need to insert a dollar symbol before the column letter to make both the column and row absolute. This has been an overview on choosing between absolute and relative references in Excel. In Excel 365, you can reference cells indirectly when you want to manipulate data without adjusting formulas manually. In this video, you'll learn how to use cell reference indirectly in Excel 365. I currently have a summary worksheet open. I want to gather totals from the other worksheets and display them here. I want to reference the cell C16, D16, and E16 specifically. If, for example, I switch to the Berlin worksheet by clicking that tab at the bottom left, here I can see the figures for this site, as well as totals at the bottom of the table. These totals are held in cell C16, D16, and E16. These coordinates are the same for the other sites' worksheets. I'll click the Summary Worksheet tab at the bottom left. I can reference these cells by selecting cell C5, insert an equal sign followed by the name of the worksheet, which in this case is Paris, which is then followed by an exclamation point to let Excel know it's a worksheet I'm referencing. Then enter the cell coordinates, which is C16. Press Enter to perform the calculation. If I now click the Paris Worksheet tab, I see that the total here corresponds to the figure in my summary worksheet. Switch back to the summary worksheet. This is a good way to reference data, but it can be quite time-consuming. I want to be able to use the fill command to finish our table. This is where indirect referencing comes in. I'll just delete the value in cell C5 before continuing. The strength of indirect referencing comes from its ability to convert text references into formulas. I'll be using the countries column and cell row as the references to create the formulas. Start by inserting an equal sign, followed by indirect and an open parenthesis. Next, enter the reference text, which is the Paris text contained in cell B5. As I'm referencing the Paris worksheet, I must include an exclamation mark within quotation marks. So I'll insert an ampersand, followed by an exclamation mark within quotation marks, then insert another ampersand and select the other reference cell C4. Close off the parentheses. Before performing the calculation, let's just quickly recap. I'm asking Excel to pull the text from cell B5, which references the Paris worksheet, and then pull the text from C4, which references cell C16. So Excel is looking for the value in cell C16 in the Paris worksheet. Press Enter to perform the action. As you can see, I've performed the calculation successfully using indirect references. Because of this, I can now use the fill command to extend this to other cells. But before doing this, you need to convert the cell references to absolute references. To do this, insert a $sign before the column letter B and after the column letter C in the formula bar, then press Enter. And I can now use the fill command to complete the table. Now you can see how incorporating indirect references to your work could potentially save you a lot of time. This has been an overview on using cell references indirectly in Excel. Any changes to named ranges in Excel impact wherever the named range is used. In this video, you'll explore how to manage named data ranges in Excel. The quickest way of naming your data range is using the name box at the top left, next to the formula bar. First, select the data range. I'll select the city cell range, then click inside the name box and type in the name of your range, so I'll type in city, then press the Enter key to save. And just like that, I've named the column G cell range. It's important to know how to manage named ranges, because any changes will affect the data of the range which has been referenced. You can manage named ranges from the Name Manager window. To access the Name Manager, switch to the Formulas tab. In the center of the Tools ribbon, go to the Define Names toolset, and on the left click the Name Manager button. The Name Manager window opens. Here, you'll see a list of any ranges you've named and the respective information. Note that if you create a table, it will automatically be added to this list. At the top left are the options to create a new named range, edit or delete a selected range. If you have multiple ranges, at the top right is the option to apply filters. Click this drop-down and in the menu is the option to clear any applied filters. You can apply filters based on scope, errors and the defined or table names. For example, I only want to see ranges that have been scoped to this workbook, so I'll select that option. The named ranges list reduces to now only show ranges scoped to my workbook. To clear the applied filter, click the filter drop-down again, and you can either click on the applied filter again to remove it or click on Clear Filter at the top to remove all of the filters that may be applied. To edit a range, first select it from the list, then click the Edit button at the top left. An Edit Name window opens. From here, you can change the name, scope, comment, and cell reference of the range. I'll change this range's name by clicking in the Name text field at the top and then make an edit. To save this change, click the OK button at the bottom right, and then click the Close button at the bottom right to close the Name Manager window and apply the edits. And to see that the name of the range I edited has been updated, I'll highlight where the named range has been referenced, which is column D, and in the name box at the top left is the updated name for the range. If I wanted to delete this named range, I'll go to the Defined Names toolset and click the Name Manager button. The Name Manager window opens. From the list, select the range you want to delete, then click the Delete button at the top left. A Microsoft Excel dialog box opens, asking to confirm that you want to delete this named range. To confirm, click the OK button, and that range no longer appears in the Name Manager list. It's important to note that when you delete a named range, any formula that references it will be corrupted. Select the Close button at the bottom right of the Name Manager window. This has been an overview on managing named data ranges in Excel. In Excel 365, you can use constant values so you don't have to update every formula when you want to change the value. In this video, you'll discover how to perform calculations using constant values in Excel. In my worksheet, I want to find the total price including additional costs. If I were to perform this calculation manually, and for example the additional cost value was incorrect, I'd have to re-enter the formula with the correct details. This is where constant values can save you a lot of time, as you don't have to update the formula when you change a value. There are two ways to perform calculations using constant values. You can use absolute references or named constants. First, I'll demonstrate the absolute references method. I'll select cell F3, insert an equal sign followed by sum and an open parenthesis, then select the cell range B3 to E3 and close the parentheses. I want to make the additional cost value in cell B3 absolute. To do this, I'll insert a $sign before both the column letter and row number, then press enter to perform the calculation, and the total plus additional cost for the supplier 1 row has been calculated. To apply this to the rest of the column, I'll select cell F3 and then double-click the autofill symbol at the bottom right. If I now select cell F4 to view the formula for the supplier 2 total, I can see that the absolute reference B3 remains the same, but that the relative reference has automatically updated relative to the cell location. And if I change the value in the absolute reference cell by selecting cell B3 and, for example, inserting $250 then press enter, all of the calculations that use that reference in column F now update to reflect the changed value. You can also perform calculations using constant values with named constants. To do this, switch to the Formulas tab. Go to the Defined Names toolset in the center of the Tools ribbon and click the Define Name button. A new name window opens. Into the name field at the top, type in a name for your constant cell, so I'll type in tax. Then on the right of the Refers to field at the bottom, click the up arrow button and select the cell that contains your constant value, which for me is cell B9. Then click the down arrow button on the right of the field. Then click the OK button at the bottom right to create your named constant. Now in your worksheet, select the cell where you'll be using the named constant. For example, in cell G3, I want to calculate the total and additional cost with the tax value that I just made a named constant. To do this, insert an equal sign, select cell F3, insert a plus sign, and then I'll type in the text tax. A suggestion list appears displaying my named constant tax, so I'll select that, then press the Enter key to perform the calculation. And the tax value $50 has been added to the total and additional cost value, and I can again apply this to the rest of the column cells by selecting cell G3 and double-clicking the autofill icon at the bottom right. As you can see, naming constant values can save you a lot of time when working with formulas in Excel. This has been an overview on performing calculations using constant values in Excel. Excel 365 features a wide range of formula error messages. Before you can fix these problems, you're going to need to know how to identify what each message represents and how the error was produced. In this video, you'll explore how to recognize and interpret formula error messages in Excel. A common error is a circular reference error. This error will automatically appear in a warning message when you open your Excel document. The circular reference error appears when a formula references its own cell. To fix this, you can go to the formula and choose not to reference the formula cell. First, I need to access the workbook, so I'll dismiss the warning message by clicking the OK button at the bottom. At the bottom left, I'll switch to the Summary Worksheet tab. Within this worksheet, I can see that I have a lot of common Excel errors flagged. For example, in cell D6 is a common divide by zero error. If I select the cell, a warning icon appears on the left-hand side. Click the warning icon, and a menu displays where it states the type of error this is. I can access help on this error, as well as see the calculation steps to solve the error. I can choose to ignore the error, edit it, or access the error checking options. I'll click Away to close this. In cell E6, I also have a value error. This error refers to incorrectly defined cell references or incorrect formatting, such as a space between two values in a cell reference. In cell F6, there's also a reference error. This indicates that there is a problem with the reference used in the formula, such as referring to the wrong worksheet or data range. In cell C13, I see the error message #null. This refers to an incorrect range operator in a formula, or when a space is placed between range references to specify an intersection of two ranges that don't actually intersect. To find out more information about this error and how to solve it, you can again select the cell and then click the warning icon that appears on the left. And again in the menu, it states the type of error this is. You can access help on this error, as well as trace this particular error within the worksheet. You can also choose to ignore or edit it, or access the error checking options. In cell G11, I have a name error. This means that you may need to check for spelling mistakes or to see if an invalid name of a function was used in the formula. And finally, in cell F2, I have an #n/a error. This error typically indicates that a formula can't find a reference value that it's meant to look up. This most commonly happens when using formulas such as VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, or match, when they can't find their exact value from the reference data. This may be because a mistake was made when referencing or data has been deleted. It's important to know how to identify common Excel errors so you can understand how the error was produced to then know how to fix this. This has been an overview on recognizing formula errors in Excel. With Excel 365's formula auditing tools, you can trace the source of formula problems. A trace indicates which cells are used in a formula and whether formulas are dependent on certain data ranges. You can even determine if a formula uses data in another worksheet. In this video, you'll explore how to use the formula auditing tools in Excel. First, let's look at tracing dependents. Dependents are formulas that reference a specific cell. Tracing dependents will display arrows that mark which cells are affected by the value of the currently selected cell. To do this, I'll first select a cell I'd like to trace, so I'll select cell D2 in the purchase column, then switch to the Formulas tab. Go to the Formula Auditing toolset on the right of the ribbon and click the Trace Dependents button. A blue arrow now runs from cell D2 to cell H2. This indicates that the purchase value in cell D2 is being used by the total value in cell H2. I can select cell H2, and in the formula bar, I can see that indeed cell D2 is being used in this sum formula. You can remove the Trace Dependents arrow by clicking the Remove Arrows button in the Formula Auditing toolset. Next, let's look at tracing precedents. Precedents are cells that provide data to a formula. When you trace precedents, arrows will appear indicating which cells affect the value of the currently selected cell. This is basically the reverse of tracing dependents. To demonstrate this, I'll select the total cell, then go to the Formula Auditing toolset and click the Trace Precedents button. The blue arrow now appears from the purchase column to the total cell, and all of the purchase column is highlighted in blue. This is because it's a data range, and the blue arrow indicates that these highlighted cells affect the value of the total cell. Again, to remove the trace arrow, click the Remove Arrows button. If a cell contains an error, you can use the Trace Precedents command to determine where the formula in the cell is deriving its data from. For example, if I copied the formula in the total cell by pressing Ctrl+C, then select cell H3 below it and paste it by pressing Ctrl+V, I can see that the cells have different values. I can use the Trace Precedents tool to figure out why this discrepancy appears. With the incorrect cell H3 selected, click the Trace Precedents button. I can now see where the formula is pulling data from. The first cell D2 in the purchase column is not being used, and if we scroll down, I can also see that the highlighting extends to one cell below the table. I now know that the original formula used relative cells, hence the discrepancy when the formula was moved to a cell one row below. I'll click the Remove Arrows button to remove the trace arrow, and I'll delete the copied cell by pressing the Delete key on my keyboard. Excel can even trace data from different workbooks. I'll select cell F2, which contains the value Greater Manchester, then click the Trace Precedents button. Note the dotted line that appears, which leads to a worksheet icon. This indicates that this cell uses data from another worksheet. Double-click the worksheet icon, and a Go To dialog box opens. Here, in the field labeled Go To, a worksheet is referenced. Select the name of the worksheet, then click the OK button at the bottom right. And I've been navigated to the reference Metropolitan Counties worksheet. I'll switch back to the original worksheet by clicking the Customer Purchases tab at the bottom left. To clear the trace arrows, click the Remove Arrows button. Note that if you click the Remove Arrows drop-down, a menu displays with the option to remove all arrows, and you have specific options to only remove precedent arrows or dependent arrows. Knowing how to audit formulas means you can visualize the relationship between cells easily, even if they appear in separate worksheets. This has been an overview on using the Excel formula auditing tools. You can check, evaluate, and debug formulas in Excel to determine the cause of an error with the formula and fix it. In this video, you'll explore how to review and debug formula errors in Excel. In my worksheet are multiple errors. Rather than going through each individual error, I can use the error checking tool. To access this tool, switch to the Formulas tab. Go to the Formula Auditing toolset on the right of the ribbon and click the Error Checking button. An error checking window opens, where you can browse through the different errors. Currently, the invalid reference error in cell F4 is displayed. At the top left, the tool indicates which cell the error is in, the formula within that cell, the error type, and what that error message means. To browse through the other errors, click the Next button at the bottom right, and you can click the Previous button to go back to the previous error. To access help on how to solve your error, you can select the Help on this error button at the top right. Below, you can also show the calculation steps to view and edit your nested formula, ignore the error, or edit the formula in the formula bar. Click the Edit in Formula Bar button. The mouse cursor will start blinking within the formula bar, and you can edit the selected formula directly from there. Close this window by clicking the X icon at the top right. As I activated formula editing mode, cells D4 and 5 are highlighted in the same color as the color references in the formula bar. You can see that cell D4 is highlighted red and D5 is highlighted blue. Cell D4 highlighted in red is affecting my formula that has the error in cell D6. Select cell D4 and in the formula bar I can see that it's referencing another worksheet in my workbook where the origin of the error is occurring. In Excel, you can select a cell containing multiple references and formulas and audit it using the Evaluate Formula tool. To do this, I'll first select cell E6, which contains a value error. Go to the Formula Auditing toolset and click the Evaluate Formula button. From the Evaluate Formula window, you can evaluate and step in at specific points in your formula. For example, to calculate the division located in this particular cell, click the Evaluate button at the bottom. The reference summary field updates, and I can continue clicking the Evaluate button until I come across the error in this field. Note that each expression in the formula is underlined, and that you can click the Evaluate button to evaluate that expression. Evaluating displays what the result of the underlined expression would be, and if there are multiple results, the most recent result is displayed in italics. Once the Evaluate button changes to Restart, this means I can no longer evaluate as the error has appeared. Click the Restart button and I'll be brought back to the beginning of the evaluation. When this happens, you may then need to step in to resolve the error. So for my first formula, click the Evaluate button, then click the Step In button to the right of it. A second field opens displaying two different worksheets, Paris and London, that have been referenced in this formula. Click the Evaluate button again, and in the field only the London worksheet is now displayed. Click the Step In button and I'm then navigated to that London worksheet. And another field in the Evaluate Formula window has appeared displaying a reference to the London stock worksheet. Click the Step In button again, and I'm then navigated to the London stock worksheet, and displayed in the window is the specific cell and the error it contains, which is causing the error within my summary worksheet. In the fourth field, I can see that there's a space between the values 1 and 5. If I move the window to the left, in cell E7 I can indeed see that this is causing the value error. To solve this error, I'll first leave the Evaluate Formula window by clicking the Close button at the bottom right, then go to the formula bar and remove the space between the two values, then select Outside and click the Summary Worksheet tab at the bottom left. I can see that the error in cell E6 has now been resolved. This has been an overview on reviewing and debugging formula errors in Excel. If you use formulas to obtain results in a table, you can use the Goal Seek tool to determine which variables need to change to reach a target value without manually adjusting a formula. In this video, you'll explore how to use the Goal Seek tool to modify data variables to reach a target value in Excel. In my table are 3 different devices. I can use the Goal Seek tool to quickly adjust the sales price or margins for my products. The Goal Seek tool is used to reach a target value if you've used formulas to obtain certain results in a table. For example, I want to calculate with the lower sales price of the DVD player, with my variable being the margin. To do this, first access the Goal Seek tool by switching to the Data tab, and on the right of the ribbon, in the Forecast toolset, click the What If Analysis button. From the menu that opens, click on Goal Seek. A Goal Seek dialog box opens. Here, the currently selected cell is displayed in the Set Cell field. To choose a different cell that already contains a formula, click the up arrow button on the right of the field. I'll then select cell C6 in my worksheet and click the down arrow button on the right of the field. In the To Value field below, I need to insert the goal I'd like to obtain. For example, I'd like to change the sales price to 200 rather than 214, so I'll type in 200 into the To Value field. In order to obtain that value, I'm going to need to insert my variable cell that I'm willing to change into the By Changing Cell field. This will be my margin cell C5, so click the up arrow button on the right of the By Changing Cell field and select cell C5, then click the down arrow button on the right of the field. Once done, click the OK button at the bottom. And I can see that the sale price of the DVD player has now been changed to 200. In order to reach that price, the margin value has been reduced to 1.21. A Goal Seek status dialog box also appears, stating the value changes I wish to make. To save the changes made to my values, click the OK button at the bottom of the window, and those changes are now saved in my table. As you can see, the Goal Seek tool is useful if you know the result you want to achieve from a formula, but are unsure what input value the formula needs to get that result. This has been an overview on adjusting formulas automatically with the Goal Seek tool in Excel. The Watch window is a very useful tool in Excel that can be used to keep an eye on your data entries and monitor cells for changes. In this video, you'll explore how to keep an eye on your data using the Watch window tool. The Watch window tool is useful for keeping an eye on a formula when working on other parts of a worksheet or in another workbook. To activate the watch window, switch to the Formulas tab and on the right of the ribbon, in the Formula Auditing toolset, click the Watch Window button. The watch window then opens and is activated as a task pane. Hover your mouse over the pane. When your cursor changes to a 4-arrow cursor, you can then click and drag the window to another area of your workbook and then release your mouse click to drop it in that new area. You can also resize the tool by hovering your mouse over one of the borders of the window, clicking and then dragging out or into resize. You can also dock the window at the top, bottom or sides of your workbook. To do this, hover over the window, drag and then drop the window at the top of the Excel workbook below the Tools ribbon. Once docked, you still have the option to resize the pane. Again, hover your mouse over one of the borders and I'll make it bigger by dragging the bottom border downwards. At the top right of the Watch Window task pane is the Task Pane Options button displayed as a drop-down arrow. Click this and a menu appears with the option to move the task pane, resize or close it. Click Away to close this menu. At the top left of the task pane, I'll click on the Add Watch button. An Add Watch window displays where you can select the cells you'd like to watch the value of. From my workbook, I'll click on cell H2, which contains a formula. Note that if you want to add a data range to the watch window, each cell needs to be added separately. With the cell selected, I'll click on the Add button at the bottom right of the Add Watch window. That cell's information now appears in the watch window. On the left of a cell's information in the watch window will be the workbook's name. To the right of that, under the heading Sheet is the worksheet's name. Next, displayed under the heading Name will be the data range name if it has one. Under the heading Cell will be the cell's reference number. Under the heading Value is the data in that cell. And finally, under the heading Formula is the formula used to get the data for that cell. With the watch pane open, even if I switch to another workbook, I'll still be able to view the value of the selected cell. To demonstrate this, I'll navigate to another workbook by hovering over the Excel icon in the taskbar and click on the Paris Berlin workbook window. And at the top of this workbook, the watch window is already activated and open, and in it I can see the cell that I added from the other workbook. This is useful as I can now keep track of cells and their formulas in multiple workbooks without needing to navigate back and forth. To close the watch window, click the X icon at the top right of the watch pane. Note that the selected cell entries aren't removed when you close the watch window pane. To show this, I'll go to the Formulas tab and in the Formula Auditing toolset, click the Watch Window button. And my selected cell H2 is still visible in the watch window pane. To remove a watched cell, select the cell in the watch pane, then click the Delete Watch button at the top left. And cell H2 has now been removed. Close the pane again by clicking the X icon at the top right. This has been an overview on keeping an eye on your data with the watch window in Excel.